what's up, y'all? We back again. Back for the last time this time. This is Prince Fresh Podcast. This is the Peacock reimagining of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I am your co-host, Rhayne Coleman. Happy to be here, ready to discuss the mess. And I have with me someone who unfortunately is hasn't been too good of a brother to his little sister Ashley. What's your name, sir?
Wow. Oh man. My name is Cole Jackson, and I am here to go ahead and we're here to finish off the season of Bel
Black
Air.
Lightning. No.
And let me just tell you right now,
Tell 'em.
summertime still slaps.
Oh.
Still slaps.
Listen. Listen. I said
Summertime
that's the best
still
thing they could have
slaps.
did. That's the best thing they could have did to end this season. I was like, maybe it wasn't so bad. With that shit, I'm gonna make a prediction early before we do anything. Next season, at least for 2 or 3 episodes, we're getting this summer. And I know that's probably like very obvious, but I feel like with them focusing on school for 2 seasons straight, we not going right back to Bel Air Academy. We getting some summertime. Yes.
Boy, they played. I heard that. I said they did that little needle drop. I was like,
No.
I said, oh.
Man,
I think that song is underrated. We don't give that song enough credit. God, that song. I heard that shit. I was like, oh shit.
Timeless.
Loved it,
brother. Yes, that is the quintessential summer song. I don't give a damn. If you got a summer playlist, you got to start it or end it with that. Ain't no in between. Okay, cool. So this is let's get right to it, y'all. So the season 2, episode 10 is titled Don't Look Back. In this one, the Banks family comes together for the announcement of the Founders Award, which, sure, whatever. Will embraces moving forward in an unexpected way. I personally feel like Will should not have been mentioned at all in this summary. But that's neither here nor there. Give me some general thoughts. How are you feeling about the let's first do just the episode so far.
I thought the episode was great. I thought it ended very well. I think they did what they could, and they gave us they did give us some stuff to think about going into next season. And we are going to get summer in Bel Air, which I think is going to be pretty fun. So I was good with it, man. I think the Carlton stuff is what sold me. And I know we'll get into it, but I'm not gonna front, man. That Carlton scene at the end where he was giving the speech, I got choked up because I've been around people who have drug problems and they break down like that too, and it got me. So, but I think this is a good episode. I think they ended it the way it needed to end. There are some stuff that I do have some gripes about, but they ended it the way I wanted it to end because I know he's going to rehab.
Yeah.
Ooh, not the hour. Roll him back where I can. Don't roll him all the way back in your head.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. No, it was cool. Felt very sitcom-y to me. A lot of it. I know that we're wrapping up things, but as we mentioned in a lot of our previous episodes, there were moments that felt like they should have been shuffled around sooner in the season that would have made this maybe a little bit more satisfying for me because I did not. It felt clunky. To me, this season finale didn't feel as satisfying as I would have hoped, and I don't know. And maybe through us talking this out by the time the end of the episode, I will feel differently. But as it stands now, it happened. So really briefly, what about the entire season? Just like a quick overview. Do you feel like from 1 to 10, this was a enjoyable ride? What's your thoughts?
Very much a roller coaster. It was up and down.
Yeah.
we had some high points and some low points this season.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, is it better than the first season? Not really. But hey, man, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
We got
It
through
is.
it. I didn't feel bad watching it this season.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I'm good.
Well, that's good. As for me, funny enough, enjoyed as a full project. Much like you, I think that there are some things that could have been changed, but that's with any form of art. And I guess I want to take this time, I think we've done it on this show before. I know we did it on Black Lightning, to point out that however harsh the critiques may be, it's still because we're critiquing art, and that is fine. Like, art is made, nobody is exempt just because it's a good show. This doesn't mean I'm rooting for the show. I can't wait for season 3, to be quite
Mm-hmm.
honest. But even within the critiques of the show, I did enjoy it, and I think if I go back and do a rewatch, maybe sometime this summer, and do from season 1, episode 1, all the way to season 2, episode 10, I wonder what that'll feel like then. Like, if it'll feel like a cohesive
Yeah.
project or not. But also I'm hoping that this is the sophomore slump and that season 3 come back whooping our ass, because
Mm-hmm.
just the creation of Erica alone, I'm sorry, I'm with it. I'm there.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
that
I
pink.
think the
Ah,
Erica thing is
mm,
unbelievable. And
Erica
I was
did it
like,
for me.
yes.
Yeah, she did it for me. But and if I'm being honest, now that I'm thinking about it, the issues I have with this finale aren't fully with the show. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of it is with Phil, and
Oh,
we're
we
going to
gonna
get
get to
to
it.
it. So I do still feel the way I feel, but I think once we talk through this and I like express my feelings on Phil, I'll probably feel better about this season and this episode as a whole, to be quite honest. So,
Yeah.
um, let's go ahead and get started. So, oh no, I'm sorry. Cole, who, who? I mean, pray tell, who do you think was the freshest?
Freshest of the
Freshest,
week, man.
yeah.
It's uh this was a tough one.
Okay.
Yet again. I gotta give it to Jazz. I have to give it to
Hey,
Jazz. Jazz had it
hey.
was the shirt that he had on the beginning of the episode that was the Palm Angels mismatch patchwork coach jacket. Fire. You got to be a confident dude to be able to wear that with the pants that he had on. Which, sorry guys, the website that I go to find out these clothes, they didn't have the pants,
That's
and
right,
they don't have the blue suit that he was wearing at the end of.
baby. Bro, hold up. That blue suit. I There's something about. I think it's monochromatic, all same, like,
Mm-hmm.
because that's how I felt about that green one with Carlton. That blue suit though, against that damn rich ass skin. I said, oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
He did that.
I had to give it to Jazz, which I think he ends up beating out Will for the
Mm-hmm.
precious of the
The
season.
season.
Uh, man, Jazz was just he was
Own
fresh.
it.
Like every episode, he was something to deal with. So
Yeah.
I'm super happy that it wasn't the lead character that I ended up picking, and it wasn't
Mm-hmm.
because don't get me wrong. I think Will had a ton of outfits that were like really really dope, but Jazz just
He did it.
the stuff he was wearing, and he was kind of like, yo, like it take a lot of confidence to wear a lot of the stuff that he was wearing. I thought a lot of that
Mm-hmm.
was fly, so I had to give it to
Yeah.
him. Had to.
I agree. I agree. And I think that when you look at Bel Air, Will Smith has always been fresh. He's always been cool. It's Fresh Prince of Bel-Air for the first season, anyways. And I think Jazz, however, like culturally, you understand jazzy, like you understand jazz. But I think
Mm-hmm.
this version, it just made more sense that he was so smooth, put together, business owner, like it just to me makes more sense that this guy is the one who was the smoothest, the coolest, the freshest. because Will was like, you have style, but you also like have an allowance. Not that that should mean you should dress worse, but when you got to cultivate your style, maybe visit
Yeah,
a thrift store too. Hey, so cool.
yeah,
Ooh,
yeah.
well, listeners, y'all let us know who was y'all freshest. Do you agree with Jazz being the freshest of this episode and of the season, or do you think you have another pick? If so, let us know. Use the hashtag POFPod. But I gotta agree, Cole. I'm with you. Had to be DJ
I
Jazzy
wish
Jeff.
they could have told us who made the blue suit at the end because I thought that was really the way he had it, and then he had the shirt on up under, which
Mm-hmm.
was kind of a chrome shiny. I don't know what
Mm.
that was made out of, but the
It,
the shirt up
yeah.
under it was dope as hell. Like all that was just fire. So
So by the time this airs, you would have known, listeners. But if I have found it, the pants or whatever else, that'll be added in the graphics and whatnot. But woo, yeah, that boy was fly.
yeah.
So, okay, okay. So we picking right up. Um, we have now found out about Doc and his evil plan.
Which wasn't evil.
Let's okay. I would like to just get Doc. Let's do that. So within the Doc storyline, Will comes to Uncle Phil. Doc is evil. He doing X, Y, and Z. Last episode, him and Jackie slept together, and then she told him about Doc's evil plan, and he had a nervous breakdown, not convincing at all. Sent her away. Then he come to Uncle Phil. Now Will is having a crisis of mind or like a breakdown. Like, what do I do? Talks with the guys, and they're like, well, "Nigga, you leave and you go to a house in Bel-Air and such and such." Long story short, he gets some guys together to talk with Uncle Phil because Uncle Phil has assured him, "We're going. I'm not helping Doc, and if you get caught in the crossfires, I'm going to help you out. Rest assured." Will, which I'm not so upset at this because I think it makes a lot of sense. He's like, "Well, what about the other guys? This is my teammates." And they all tell this story about how Doc has done all these amazing, wonderful things for them and how they can't really talk about it because you can't be taking bribes and shit from a coach. And then Phil decides to help him. My question is, who the fuck is who's coming up with these storylines? If Doc is a villain, and I'm not saying you can't pull an okey doke and do a plot twist and trick us and do the, fake, what is it called? Red shirt, whatever. But if Doc is the villain, his storyline makes no sense because he was the evil guy with about the 18%. He initially was like, yeah, we got to get Will so we can get to the banks. Um, and then even Jackie's involvement makes this make no sense. Am I wrong? Because
I didn't. None of it made. I, they made it look like his intentions were bad, but they were really good. So I
that's
don't
not
get why we were having him twirl his mustache all season just for him to be like, "Hey, I need some help, Phil," and he's just like, "I'm not gonna help." Oh well, talking to these boys that that play basketball for you, you really do need my help.
this is dumb. This is dumb because you set him up to be this evildoer. If Doc is the hero, Jackie's storyline makes no sense. it's
Mm.
it's pointless because if I get the whole family like, oh, I've got to protect my family, Doc is my uncle, but protect him from what? Because if the evil thing, like if we take episode 10's explanation, and the evil thing is I'm giving money and food and whatever else to these teammates, then why would that be a problem for like why would it matter that Jackie knew that? That has no bearings on the basketball players. And then it also makes homeboy with the locks leaving even weird. Like, are we glossing up? Like, so did he not get the? Did Doc not profit off of sending them to certain schools or not? Because it's like bro, I feel like I'm going crazy. This makes no sense. Why
I
even
didn't.
include Jackie? Why make her his niece? Or even keep her his niece, that's fine. But why does it it's like they were forcing a lot of stuff this season that did not make any sense. Him and Jackie could have had a great relationship. She could have did like Will did last season, kept her mouth about what he was doing because that's family, but he wasn't doing anything. If
That's
I'm
what I'm
dating
saying. Like he was the tiptoe burglar. Like he wasn't doing nothing. Like
this man wasn't he again, if I'm dating a motherfucker, and let me be as simple as possible. If I'm dating a nigga that is from the hood and he understands the hood culture, from guns to Black Panthers back in the day helping with food programs to the neighborhood looking out for one another. Why the fuck would it be weird for me to tell this nigga who from the same community that me and my uncle are from what's going on? Because I trust him enough to dance in front of him at this damn empty studio, to tell him about my two kids, to get drunk in front of them, to be at the teen club. It's like, either have her talk about it or not. You can't make it
right.
seem so sinister. It's silly. The guy leaving because of his even the argument in the locker room about like, oh yeah, he might be doing this, but then when you go to Bel-Air and I gotta catch a bus. That's powerful in that moment, but when you reveal episode 10, it's like, why didn't y'all niggas just say, like, none of y'all felt comfortable pulling him to the side saying, hey, this is what Doc is doing? Or why this reveal makes all of this shit make no sense. The entire season does not make sense now.
Right.
Okay. Okay. I want to
Right. Now
make
I
sure.
agree with you 150%. I'm like, this devious plot was to just be like, hey, I need a lawyer.
But even that's dumb. Like to put all this on Lorenzo really pissed me off because you just introduced him like episode 9. Well, like I think 7 or 8. But either way,
Something like that, yeah.
we don't know this nigga. Like they arguing. Sure, it's like I get trying to set up Doc to be the anti-feel as far as where their life is, but it seems like they both came from the same circumstance. That's why Phil confuses me, even aside from my hatred for him out of his actions. You come from the same community. The people you went to step show with in season 1 and the community members you were campaigning with are from the same community that Doc is in. So your disdain from him makes absolutely no fucking sense.
Right.
This Doc character could have just been a version of Phil that was just more aggressive and more quote unquote hood than Uncle Phil. That can be where y'all disagree, but he's like, hi, surprise, bitch, I'm Glinda the Good Witch. You thought you dropped the house on me. I'm like, but whatever. I want to wrap this up with my portion anyways, with the final scene where Lorenzo goes into the office of Doc and Doc's like, here's my lawyer, Phil. So you mean to tell me you're making 18% in perpetuity off of all these motherfuckers that come through Ezekiel Academy for Wayward Boys? You have this huge ass facility full of top notch equipment and everything. You're collecting a fee, not from everyone, because some people are scholarship ish or whatever. And you not once thought to hire a lawyer to do the same thing? Phil's not doing anything that any other lawyer would have done. You could have got James in his ill-fitting suits, and he could have did this.
Let me just interject real quick.
Go ahead.
I think that his connections had a lot to do with what he wanted to do too. When he finally found out that Phil was somebody who was well connected, which I know that was a lot of last minute. It was just like, oh, he know people for real, and I think he was just like Phil's the type of dude that's gonna get down and dirty, and I need that instead
Really?
of like. I'm
I mean,
I'm trying
I'll take
to
it.
lawyer for this lawyer for it. I'm just trying to kind of see where they were going with this.
But it wasn't
Phil's
done
the
well.
only person that can actually do what needed to be done.
You could
Plus,
have had a nigga
Phil
lie.
he got a mini British spy on his
Okay,
on his
I'm gonna
team.
talk about that next. Come on.
So, how many people got their own spy?
Okay. Sure. So my thing is, you've done all of this, and again, I go back to the question I posed a couple episodes ago. If Will never showed up to that court, what would you have done? And I get it's a show, so he wouldn't exist. But like,
But
what are you?
remember, Will was looking for him first.
No, I get that, but that's what I'm saying. If you never crossed paths with Will, what were you going to do about Lorenzo? Kill him? Like, what would have like? That's where I thought this was going because what other like? Oh, you're out of jail, and the other two got. So what, bitch? I can still tell on you. Send me to jail. I can still tell on you. Like, what do you mean? So he's like, oh yeah, I want to buy you out of this thing. You can buy me out. I can still tell on you. You have to kill this man. So
You have to kill this
I, so when Jeffrey, and this is no, I love the actor. I love the Jeffrey character. But I said, at what point are we going to stop being scared of this nigga? And it's not because I feel like he's not intimidated. No. Follow me. Every single person that runs into him.
I said, I'm listening.
I'm thinking with the type of people you are portraying Doc's entourage and people in that space and community to be, why is everybody so scared of Jeffrey? And I'm accepting it because I like the character. I like the 007 of it all. But like, I think you need to go, and if we're not done with this conversation, Lorenzo, if you really Billy Badass, why you not doing it? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like these villains seem so weird.
With him.
Okay.
You are
Doc.
Why do you want to take the fun out of Jeffrey being this?
No.
Spy.
I love this about Jeffrey, but I also want to see this man get his hands dirty. Cause I want you to whoop somebody.
They do everything else in here. I do want him to rough somebody.
I'm tired of him just showing up and crossing his hands over his crotch and being like, you know what I'm saying? I want to see him use some, even if it's like weird, campy shit and the choreography is fucked. I still want to see it. I want to see him do some shit.
Right.
So yeah, that's my issue. And then when it comes to Doc and Lorenzo, I'm with Lorenzo. You a bitch. Like, what are we doing? You a bitch. He said, fuck you. He said, no, fuck you. So I don't know. It just feels like this story was going in a whole nother direction. And this last minute switcheroo, like, we tricked you. Doc is really the good guy. No, this is not done well. Because if it was, there wouldn't be these big gaps. We wouldn't have this specific conversation if this was done well. Because, like, right. Doc was set up to be evil. It's one thing to have him just be a hard-ass, tough coach. It's a whole nother thing for him to say, I'm taking 18% of these young boys' career in perpetuity. That's not a good guy thing. And are we just glossing over that? Because that wasn't addressed. And the fact that he even took money and for sending them to college or whatever, it's like, you can't just say this thing and make it true. If I murdered someone, I can't then say, oh, I never murdered someone, because no, I did. So you can't make it untrue. I can say I don't murder people anymore, but that still means I've done these things in the past. So I don't know. That's my hot take. Doc's storyline was haphazard at best. So
right. I feel like it was very stupid for them to be like, oh yeah, Doc's really a good guy. He did, come on, he just needed a lawyer. I'm with you on all of it, man. But don't take away from Jeffrey, man. Don't do that. I love Spy Jeffrey. I will always love Spy Jeffrey. So I do too.
I do too. But I'm like, somebody fight this man. Quit letting him stand around in these nice suits. Let him pop a thread. Shit. So, but yeah, that's my issue. What you got?
I'm trying to think.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of this was just done wrong. Why couldn't they just make it like a class thing? Like, why couldn't we just know that he just needed help the whole time? Because I'm going to be honest. Man, I might be jumping the gun here. The real villain this season was Phil.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. To everyone.
He's the villain. He ends up being the villain.
His brother, his mother, his lover, and his secretary.
Oh my God.
Working there.
But they just didn't execute very well. That's all that was to me. They just didn't execute him being the good guy or being like, hey, I'm a good guy. They didn't
Yeah.
execute that well.
They really didn't win. Okay, and I'm not saying that there's not more than one way to get a story done,
Mm-hmm.
but like when you do a mystery, you want to write the story in a way that the viewer, the reader, the listener is focusing on what you want them to, and they're not
Mm-hmm.
paying attention to the things that are right in front of their face. So when the killer is revealed or the mystery is uncovered, they can be like, "Oh yeah," because
I
Charlotte wore a
seen
red dress, but
right.
I didn't realize that because I was looking at the blood on Kelly's dress. I didn't that none of that
See,
shines through for this. Nothing about this past season makes me be like, "Oh, he did." Do everything was set up for him to be the bad guy. Nothing was
nothing.
like sleight of hand. No, he was evil the entire time. Also, why do we need that teen club scene at all? Like, what the
So,
fuck is this show? I,
hey man,
even Jackie at the end, I was like, I mean, I guess it makes sense that Vivian would, but like, girl, go away.
hey, you got it. It had to be handled.
Anywho, so the show opens up with Will, which can I say I don't have sympathy for. I have no emotional connection to Will this season. Like whatever. So he opens up fighting on the basketball court talking about this older man. And I was like, this is a choice. What is he was like, yeah, fuck this old bitch. I'm like, bro, what are we doing? What are we doing? Like, really,
He
what are
was
we doing?
mad. Hoodie Will was mad. Hoodie Will had to come out and be North, South Philly,
West
West Philly
Philly.
Will.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I don't know, man. This everything that Will did this whole season was wrapped up
Was
in this episode because he did some good deeds. He was like, "Oh, let me just help the basketball team out by getting my uncle to help out Doc, or let me help out my former high school team, my high school team by them practicing with my
Ezekiel.
new AA team. We'll teach him how to get through the playoffs." And what
This
else
is
did he
dumb.
do that saved the world?
Send Jazz to Hillary's place.
Yeah, let me do that. I'm just gonna help
Whatever.
people, and that'll just take away everything I did this season. And I was like, yeah,
No.
it's a show.
Yeah. It happened. Things
It's a
happen.
TV show, so
Sure.
I guess that's how it works.
I wish that grown man will no, because every grown man on this show wants to fight Will, so never mind.
Man,
Never mind. I'm gonna let him have that. I'm gonna let.
he was like, he. First of all, and then I did like when Jazz was like, "Hey,
Not in
you
West Philly.
wilding out here.
Mm-hmm. And
Chill
even
out. This
that.
dude's."
Well, no, go ahead. It's
No,
no good.
I mean Jazz was like, "He my cousin, man. He don't know no better. I'm trying to save his life." And that dude was
Yeah.
like, "You better save his life." And I was like, "Man, Will, you just you and these
I
grown men that want to
I
fight
think every season, like if it don't happen, that means it ain't really a real Fresh Prince Bel-Air
you." Right.
season. I will say that I think, and maybe this is just me and my perception of California, but I feel like people think because California is beautiful that you won't get your ass whooped like you in any other state. I feel like
Right.
people say palm trees and hoes rollerblading in the middle of winter,
Right.
and they're like, "Oh," I'm like, it's danger in the summer, it is danger in the winter, and it's dangerous when these niggas only have one season all year. I'm not fucking with nobody who don't know what it's like to be cold and 30 below.
Right. Exactly.
Cause
Exactly.
you got time to work out, you got time to be comfortable, you got time to be angry by the heat. So I don't know. This probably wasn't their intention, but I remember being a kid watching California adjacent things on television and being like, "Oh, it just looks so
Mm.
nice." Even Boys in the Hood, I was like, "Oh, this is just a beautiful." But it was like, no, it's just fucking summer all the goddamn time. So it's just like where you're from with less snow. So,
That's
but
it.
yeah, this shit with Will and like I don't understand what direction this character is going. He has not been the same Will from season one. This Will has been stirring shit up. This Will has been the cause of a lot of the shit that has happened this season. So to
All
have
season.
him with that hoodie on. Because even let me jump ahead. When he was on the phone with his mom, and he was like, "I'm just tired of everybody I put my faith into are lying." I'm like, who have you? What are you talking about? What person on this show? I'm not even counting Phil because you didn't. What are you talking about? Who did you put your faith into? Who keeps letting you down? And like,
Doc. I mean, Doc.
oh, well,
That was
okay, well,
it. Well,
sure,
technically,
Lou.
you can say Jackie.
Then
Technically,
again, I go back to my comment from a few episodes ago. If you have so much hatred and anger towards Jackie, do we not now see how Lisa felt in season 1? Regardless to how you feel about her, you doing the same shit with Jackie that was done with Lisa. You just happen to be the Lisa of this situation. Like, what the fuck ever. Nobody paid for the consequences of their actions except for Carlton, and that's what's pissing me off.
right, right.
So Will was not likable. So he fighting with this grown man, calling this grown nigga a bit like, I don't know. He's 4 times your size. Relax, child. So Jazz breaks it up. He's like, fuck you, Jazz. I'm like, bro, I
Yeah, he
get
mad at the world.
grieving. I get being upset. But girl, are you not mad at yourself? You caused this.
But you got what you wanted though, Rhayne. He finally called his mom, and that made everything better. You
April
have been
Parker
asking for that
Jones
all
is a
season, and it was
national
like
treasure.
episode 10. We'll just call his mom up, and she'll
I
know what to
loved it.
say.
I loved it. I just wish she would have been more involved because for somebody who's a mama's boy, who was raised by their mom, when I went away to school, I was still talking to mom. It wasn't like every hour, every day, but I was like, hey, this test was
Right.
hell. Like, what the fuck do I do now? Like, so for him not to have been consistent, because I think the season still could have played out how they wanted it to, but I think what we're missing is all of the hype and continuity we got in season 1 would lead you to think that in season 2, this relationship with your mother is not severed. It's still there. So I get that there's different scheduling and that doesn't. I'm not forgetting that, but I just feel like if we were going to add her in, even if she was only in for like 10 minutes, spread that out between more than one episode. Because whatever gets her the biggest paycheck. That's my concern. So April Parker Jones.
Again, you had been asking for him to call his mom all season. He finally calls his mom. She says, "Oh, well, you looking for answers for everybody else, but you're not looking for them for what you want to do in your life. Just do that." And he was just like, "You know what? You're right, Mom. I'll just do a lot of good deeds now."
To reverse this curse that I'm under, because I'm not the same person from season 1. Damn that witch that cursed me in
I mean,
basketball
he
this
is at the
season.
end of the season. I mean, at the end of the episode.
But to what, like, even that conversation with him and Carlton, I was like,
"Woo, you got you."
fuck you,
The way you turned your head at me,
bro. I hate it. I hate it. It's fucking dumb.
yeah.
But whatever. Fuck that nigga. So he then calls Lisa. What season is this?
They're friends.
Okay. So he calls Lisa and she shows up to the beach to sit with him. And he's like, oh, you didn't have to come. Because I thought she just showed up. She's like, well, you called me. I'm like, well, she would come because you fucking called her. Let's not.
They're friends now.
Yeah, I was just in my head. Okay. And we gonna get to Lisa because I got words for her. So they're talking. It's this thing my mom used to say, which is what everybody says: God don't give you what you want, to give you what you need. Or what? Like, girl, my mom used to say that. Sure. What does your new half black, half white brother got to say? So they talk and end up at school, and I'm thinking, you could have just made this be the weekend. This did not have to be a school. I mean, but I guess it needed to be so she could argue with Drew.
Yeah.
Cole.
They skipped first period, and it was just like Drew was just like, now you're just gonna sneak in right now, you're walking in with him in front of my face.
And she said, Lucius, I can do what I want.
So we went through all of this just for them to be back together again?
What you just
Are
said?
they together again?
Listen, what you just said, say that same thing also for the Founders Award. 2 storylines that what the fuck are we doing? So, so they show up at school. Drew walks across the grass and sees them, and he's okay. He says, "So that's what you're doing now. You and Will both skip first period, and now you're creeping into class." Now, let me break it down for you again. Now, that is the son that the Jezebel and who you going? No, I recognize that Drew is the bad guy. Listen to me when because I do not
Okay.
want y'all to misconstrue what I'm saying. I
Right.
understand that Drew is the villain. However, Drew has been consistent as a boyfriend. Drew has been consistent as a character. Drew has been consistent as a BSU member. He has been consistent as someone who hates Carlton. Drew has been a consistent person. As far as the parameters of his relationship, purely him and Lisa, he has pursued her off camera because apparently he did it before Will moved there. He showed interest in her when she was free of both Carlton and Will. He went after her. He did everything he was supposed to do. And I don't mean supposed to like she owes him anything. I mean supposed to as far as how you navigate through the world. She
Mm-hmm.
showed interest in him. So as far as the relationship is concerned, he has been a consistent boyfriend from what they've presented us with. When Lisa had a crisis with her car and when Lisa
Mm-hmm.
had an emotional crisis at the hospital, she was with Will. If we're taking what the show is giving us, yes, he's a villain. Okay, but that doesn't negate him being a good boyfriend to her. That doesn't negate because she's giving him interest. She's pouring into him, giving him attention.
Right.
So, okay, so Will, who you already said you can't be friends with, gives you this tidbit of information about Drew and the video. And again, I'm not excusing that. If that's why you want to break, first of all, you don't need a reason to break up with anybody. You could just say I want to
Mm-hmm.
fucking be with you, and I support that. But if the video is the reason why you're going to break up with him, then I'm fine with that too. But when she said to his response to his comment, if there's something you want to ask, just ask it. I was like, is this not your boyfriend? Are y'all not having conversations? Because the very thing that you're expecting for him to do to you or for you
Mm-hmm.
is what you should have done when you got that information about this um video. So you mean to tell me you gonna decide that I'm not gonna say shit to him and the next time he speak to me I'm gonna cuss his ass out? How do you know, like, and again, not excusing him, but can we maybe look at, okay, Drew, why did you do this? Is it just because you hate Carlton? Or like he said, eventually I'm sick of hypocrites. I love Carlton all day long, but I
Mm-hmm.
can't admit that some of what Drew was saying was correct. You get to do whatever the fuck you want and still face no consequences. That's not
Mm-hmm.
right. Yeah, he wrong for leaking the video, but is he wrong? Because this ain't the same thing. But if there was a video, listen, niggas do bad things all
I'm
the
being
time.
quiet. I'm being
And
quiet.
I'm not advocating for Drew in this regard in the video, but I'm like, if you saw some shit that was wrong, if a motherfucker running for president used to beat his wife and you got that footage, and I'm not saying that's exactly one for one the same thing, but I'm like, it's like they want Drew to be the villain, which I can accept that he is, but you're not giving me anything except for that video. And then he fought with Carlton, but both of them niggas was whatever. That
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like with Lisa, they have not. They should have just kept her and Will friends. Just keep
Yeah.
them friends and have a will they won't they. We got to be friends, but I love you because it makes no sense. Why is Drew involved? Why is he in this? Why did you include
I
him?
think they wanted to give Will some kind of something competitive, some other guy that was going to.
But you
Um,
have another girl. Why have Jackie then? This is what I'm saying. What is the point?
I said that from episode when she showed up. I
Yeah,
said no, we don't need Jackie yet, and they was like, let's just throw her in the mix. I
yeah,
said
no,
that
no, you did.
soon as the episode, and then I was just
You
like,
did.
it's too early. It's too
You
early
did.
for us to
And you
have
said that
Jackie.
with Lisa too. And look where we are. We
Right.
didn't. We didn't need. We some one of these things is not like the other, and that's Drew and Jackie. We don't need both of them. We really didn't need neither one of them because if I'm crying about I can't be with you because I can't be friends because I love you too much. That's fair. That's a fair adult assessment that you know your feelings won't allow you to have a regular functioning friendship with this person. But why
Mm-hmm.
then turn around and just erase all of that? What is the point? Especially when the two of you motherfuckers are sitting here playing will they, won't they, while the one person who y'all should have been giving your energy to is spiraling out of control. But
Mm-hmm.
then Will talking shit with Tyler talking about, I ain't gonna help nobody who don't want to be saving this and that. Nigga, what the fuck are you talking
Yeah,
about?
he had like a
Bro.
really big turn. Like I didn't get it because I was just like, well, at the end of the day, he knew Carlton was on drugs. Not saying that he was supposed to tell it, but I don't. I guess because they're in high school, I think we have to
No,
throw a lot of the logic away because they're in high school.
I'm not giving them that because this is a show
But
and you've
it
shown us what
felt
they can
like
do.
it was just all of a sudden, it's like, I got you back, man. Like, I love you, man.
It
And
came from
I'm not justifying it. I'm just
no, no,
saying
no.
this
I'm
is
not
what the
saying you
show
are, but
this
that
is what
shit
the
pissed
show
me
gave
off.
us.
That pissed me off. Like, bro, how do you break your anger with Carlton long enough to tell him about Lisa and Drew, but you don't break it long enough to pull him to the side and say, "Nigga, we might be beefing, but I don't like what's going on with you and Connor.
He
We
said
need
that.
to win."
He didn't do that.
When did he say that? After
He
talking shit
had
about
said
him
it.
with
I think it was last episode. He was like, "What's up with you and Connor? Y'all this and or was it this episode? Shit, now I'm fucked up.
I know
I'm
he
messed
did
up.
it this episode, and I think it was last episode. But no, last episode yeah, because he was like, "Are you on drugs?" And he tried to go in his closet, and then they got to arguing. But again, with everything he said at the end of the episode to Carlton, like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, we made it through junior year," and like that doesn't line up with what the shit you said at the beginning. It's like you're only doing things that serve you. You're being selfish. You
Mm-hmm.
didn't reconcile with fucking Lisa. You done got Jackie out here probably feeling some type of goddamn way and don't give a damn about that shit. It's like you're really not a good person, and you still were able to be nominated for the Founders Award despite being suspended for a week. Not to say
Mm-hmm.
that that's a requirement, but shit, at this point, everything's made up and the points don't matter. They don't know what the requirement is for this damn award. So, Will is not likable, and I don't really care. I'm more
I
invested
mean,
in
but they
everybody
tried to
else.
fix that throughout the episode. This episode, when he went back and he did all the things that he was supposed to do, helping Doc, helping his team, backing up Carl. I'm not justifying it.
No, I
See, you
know, I
thinking
know.
I'm justifying
No,
it,
no,
but
no,
I'm
I know.
saying they were
I hear
just
you
like, okay, guys, Will hasn't been the best guy this season, but
at
let's just
all.
give you some stuff to just here
That's
you
not
go.
enough.
Like he's a good guy, and then at the end he's back to he said it. He was just like, I was too busy trying to hang on to West Philly Will when I just wanted to just be Will. So it's
No.
one of them things where they just wanted to tie it up in one episode when I completely feel like they should have taken steps towards
Mm-hmm.
the end of the season to get him back into being more liked than what he was.
Again, because he's not facing consequences for anything, but the fallout is Carlton is spiraling.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else is dealing with their shit, but you get to wrap this shit up in a neat bow. So, yeah,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah. They just said, let's put all these good stuff in here for episode 10 and go into the summer. So I get it, man. I get your frustration with it. But it's just like, isn't this part for the course of what they've been doing all season, though?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Because, like, these time jumps that we are not aware of, this
Well, how
multiverse
is
ass
Ashley
show.
supposed to jump back and forth in time from different
You mean that
universes?
plot device? Plot device banks? Service for everyone else? No, you don't have your own storyline into the last 5 minutes of episode 10? Even your storyline that kicked off this Black Lives Matter shit was usurped by
Mm,
everybody else?
right.
The show makes the rules. You did not have to say that middle schoolers can't like, why even write that in? She should have been there. Like, bro, whatever.
The budget doesn't have time for her money or her stuff.
Then find a more creative way to take her off the board. Because to be like, oh, you can protest, but middle schoolers can't. Why are they even thought of at all? Is it because she's a middle school teacher? Because all you grown ass 30 somethings was out there on that lawn. Bro, I I just feel like they've
Just gonna
dropped the
drink my
ball with
water,
Will.
man.
No, go
Drink
ahead.
my water,
Drinking your
mind my
water.
business.
Minding your business. Monday, I'm overrated. Tuesday, on my dick. Flip flop, flippy flip flopping ass Will. This nigga has not been the Will from season 1. And I get it.
But he
Listen,
is
people.
now in episode 10. We get him back. Ain't that what you want?
No. What the fuck? No. I could care less. I don't watch this shit for him anymore. Um, Him and Jazz, I kind of wanted more with them on this last episode. Like, I know I get that generic Will is a good guy and he's apologizing and all such shit, but I feel like the deep conversations we had with him and Carlton in the last season, I feel like we should have got maybe a little bit more with him and Jazz. I understand that Jazz gets it, nigga. You grieving, you going through shit, but like, I feel like he should be like, you know what? Maybe not a 5-minute conversation, but something a little bit more full, a little bit more fleshed out to show that even black men who are not related can have these sort of conversations. And it doesn't have to be extremely long, but I just would have wanted a little bit more, not to just talk about Hillary possibly going to France. Um, but all in all, this is par for the course, and this is an episode that we got. I just don't like that the show is kind of positioning Will to be the good guy because he's the main character and ignoring everything else. Much like my feelings about Doc's storyline. So it didn't feel earned. Um, Especially with Ashley, Carlton, and Will's like interactions. I they really didn't do that girl no justice this season. Jesus Christ. Um I don't know. What else you got for Will, or if anything?
Honestly, man, I think we kind of went over everything. I mean, I think the thing that got me the most was him ended up being with Lisa. I didn't really understand. I'm like, well, if they were gonna be together anyway, what was everything else for? And it was like Jackie just got left. Jackie got left high and dry, like,
and that's so unfair.
What, episode 6, maybe 7, and he was just
when
like,
he left her,
he was like, and then he was like, I wish things could have been different. I'm like, but
they can.
The circumstances was the exact same circumstances that was for you in episode with last season.
Yeah,
like we said. So I don't know, man. They found a really quick way for him to leave Lisa. I mean, leave Jackie and go back to Lisa, and then the whole way they got back together, he was just like, "How does this feel? Feels good," and he just kissed her, and I guess they're back together now. It's like they sold up everything so fast, and it's like they were, not to say fast, because they were going back to being friends when Lisa had to go to the hospital to see her baby brother get born, and he was like, I'll take you. He had been trying all season, but it's just like, well, where does that leave Jackie? Why is Jackie left out there holding the bag like that? I thought they were establishing something like really solid. She didn't gave you some too, and it's just like, it was
they got to put a baby.
It was messed up, and it was very odd, and I wasn't feeling it. So
yeah, well, if she ain't pregnant, it's like, what's the point? None of this shit.
Lisa or Jackie?
Jackie. If she's not pregnant, it's like, what was, you could have written her out of this whole season. She didn't need to be here. Yeah, I think that is one of my last like big issues is with him and the handling of Jackie. And I even get you wanting to be back with Lisa, regardless to how I feel about it. I get that, but you're handling everything poorly. Additionally, are we with her? Like, are we ignoring the things that made you not be with her to begin with? Just because her dad was like, she needed you and you were here. Okay, well, thanks. Do you not hate me anymore? Like, I don't.
I guess because of the new baby, it's different.
He's like, get her off my hands. I have a new child to raise. Like, it's whatever. This is silly. So we know that Will is silly. We know that this storyline was silly as hell. Lisa, I do not want to look at her. I don't. Her and Phil are so much.
Lisa ain't loyal.
No, at
she ain't loyal to nobody.
But I think a lot of it is of course, it's the show because she's on the show, but it's the way that they're writing and handling her. Because even with Jackie, they had a conversation, sure, but like, there's this thing when you have marginalized people in a property, you want to be able to flesh out any character, black, white, green, blue, or whatever. But and didn't follow me. There's on Mayfair Witches, spoiler alert, there is one black lady who's a maid who was like raised this one witch, and she was like always coming to her like a mammy. And she's killed off in a very brutal way. But the backstory we get is that she's been with the family for like 30 years. Fine. But then when it comes to like her family and like the really fleshed out things that brought her to this house to be the maid, the white character was like, "Oh, remember your husband treated you bad and your family messed you over and this and that and such and such," and then she was dead. And it's like, you didn't even give this woman the opportunity to tell her own story. Like, "Oh, I know these bitches gonna kill me. Let me remind them how much I sacrificed." Like,
right.
So with this, it's the same thing. Like with Jackie, all of her story was told from Doc. And then even when her and Will had a conversation after having sex, it was about Doc. And I was like, she was not needed then. You're not what is the point of this character if the only thing we know about her is things to advance somebody else's story? Yes, we know she can dance and she did the little tap dancing routine, fine. But when it came to the actual deep conversations that would like flesh out a character, not to say that dancing ain't important, but like that's one side of her. We could have gotten this other side of her, like, look, my mom was a drug addict, my uncle took me in. It's like why were we not hearing that from her? So again, what is the point of Jackie? Because every time she speaks, it's about Will. Every time she opens her mouth in this show, it's about Will or it's about her uncle. It's never just about her. He didn't come through on the date, and they were just like, "Oh, okay, well, you never showed up,
Never
but that's
mind. Yeah,
okay.
never
It's 3
mind.
days later."
But he's with Lisa though. Lisa's feeling better, so that's what counts.
Yeah, screw over these
I
black
hope we
women.
don't see Jackie next season either. Like, Jackie gone? Do you feel like Jackie's gone?
No, I feel like they're gonna make her pregnant, and that's why she's still here. That's the only thing that makes sense, because why else would she be here? Because clearly, Will is going back to play for Bel-Air, so we don't need Doc and Ezekiel Academy for Wayward Boys. So maybe I don't know. I don't know, and I hate to say it, but I don't care. Y'all shitting on these women. You shitting on, even with Lisa and my issues with her. For her, I'm really more upset at the show than the character, because you're not. You have her here being with Vivian for a minute, then you have her here with Drew, which I was happy for her. Like, yes, she's finally with somebody who is not one of the Banks kids, and we get to, like, she has a whole family that we've met that we know nothing about. They had a baby. I would have liked to see that white woman on camera again, mainly because of the tension between her and Lisa. I want to see that. Give me a reason to be like, man, Lisa, she going through it, man. Maybe Drew is good.
She been
for
going
like
through it all season. If you let her tell it,
of her own design. She's just like Will, unloyal and unlucky in love.
Wow. Oh, okay. Hey, yep. I figured you was going there this episode, this pod. So let's do it. I fuck with it.
I don't.
But
like
I told
it.
y'all. I
kept
saying. I kept saying. I'm like, she just keep
hanging around.
Just keep hanging around, and it's just like, you know what? We don't. Jackie's a throwaway character now.
And I hate that, because I'm like, these are staples from the first series, and if you're rebooting the series and you're giving us just a taste of what's what, I'm okay with that now, because clearly they're going to do it with legacy characters being thrown away because they pop up and then they're gone. Okay, if that's what you're going to do, Janice is hanging around.
She gone.
Yeah, she hanging around. But
you think I'm gonna go out without a fucking get out of here? She would have got slapped in my house.
She said, "Look, girl, you think I'm finna back down from your ass?" I was like, "Sis, whoa." But yeah, so whatever. I could care less about Will and his storyline. Next season, I'm only checking for Jazz and Carlton and a little bit of Hillary. But yeah, I don't care about none of this other stuff.
Wow,
Um, real quick, because I don't think we're gonna spend much time on this. Jeffrey getting a unknown call and then eventually
out of
being a
fucking nowhere.
East London
It wasn't
call
even on nothing, just a picture and
of him in the restaurant with Frederick. I'm like, is this a ransom? What? I don't care
is he
about
kidding
this.
it? He was like, I keep getting an unknown number calling me, and then they won't say anything, and I'm just like, well, if they were kidnappers, they would have been like, we got your son. So I'm
And
like, who? What's
is it
going
Frederick or Francis? What's his name?
Frederick.
Federico. Is it him? Like I want, and I get that was a setup for season 3, but I was like, this should have happened maybe a little sooner. Like the calls, at least we should have been seeing him getting calls in the last 2 episodes, and then
They
led
just
up to
waited till they waited to the the end of the season.
this season
With the
finale had
kidnapping.
enough shit. This should have been a movie because they had so much shit packed in here. I'm like, girl, Jeffrey, hang up. Don't nobody care about it. And you are a spy. Why you ain't figured this shit out yet? Shit, while you sitting here strong arming.
I'm gonna call my brother Luther to
Right.
figure this out.
Yes, yeah. Luther said
Come on,
there's a.
bring Idris Elba on the show. Get
Hey,
Luther on here. Let's do a crossover episode.
hey, they do that. I'm all in. I'm gonna erase every podcast for season 2. No, but that's wild. But I truly don't care. I'm not even being funny. Like, make me care next season by like addressing this shit early.
Well, they have to
Yeah.
give some kind of cliffhanger for us to care about.
Mm-hmm.
But I just kind of I'm we could have done without Frederick this season. I'm gonna just be honest. For what?
Yeah. Yeah.
For what?
Another one. Frederick, Lisa, and Jackie. Those, and now I'm waiting for remember the girl who said Carlton got her pregnant but they never had sex? I'm waiting for her to pop up. You remember that storyline? He was like he was like, we never had sex. Like, well,
He's
girl,
like, I'm still a virgin. Yeah, I can't wait to see
that was
pop
your
up for
baby.
He's like, wait, what?
Bro, he's so yeah. But I'm waiting for her to pop up. Like,
She will. She'll next season. She will. No, she won't.
episode 1.
He'll be in rehab.
Well, she'll be in rehab. You got me pregnant in rehab. Sis, I was in rehab for a month. Where does baby come from? Whatever. Ugh. So, what would be next? I don't know. Was you done with Will, or did you have more about Will?
That was it. I had nothing else. I think we covered. I think we covered everything that we needed to cover.
Do we want to go?
Can we get into? Let's go ahead and get into it right now.
Oh Lord,
I don't even want to wait no more.
Go ahead.
Phil is the villain of this season.
Yeah, yes.
He's the villain this season. They did the old switcheroo. Phil, everything. Everything. And then it's just like he's just like this egomaniacal villain now. He was like, I'm giving y'all a great life. Y'all hate money all of a sudden. You don't like none of this shit. And then the whole thing between him and Vivian, when Vivian's just like, I'm trying to chase my dreams. And he was just like, honey, you just put that down and just, be at home with me. Come on, baby. It's fine. And she's just like, come on now. That on top of I know how to handle Erica. Just got to play her game every now and again. I said, oh, I know where this is going.
Yeah, he cheated in college. And he doing it again, bitch ass.
Got to go to dinner.
If dinner is called sex with Erica, then yeah.
And then Erica with that kiss on the mouth. She said, I'm sorry. He said, we got to keep this professional. She's like, I'm sorry. Sorry, Philip.
Whatever.
I do think, well, at first I was going to be like, it was a good plan, Phil. You're still the face of, you're still going to do the stuff that they want you to do, but you're going to start your own stuff with Jeffrey? Question
This is
mark?
dumb. This is
So I was like,
stupid.
what is Jeffrey gonna be, the investigator for the law firm? I don't understand. They're
The
business
heavy.
partners, but I don't understand what Jeffrey does outside of being a spy. So that was a little much. So, but Phil, and then the whole, and then I guess we kind of figure out how he feels about Jazz, because he was like, any man should. This is why I had a problem too. Any man should step up to the plate and be willing to give his woman what they want. Now, in my notes here, I have my notes here. I said, how do you step your game up when you're a young entrepreneur? You know, like when you start doing things like, oh, I don't know, paying each other's mortgages to make sure your law firm gets off the ground because you guys are starting out and doing things of that nature. Eating, I forgot what they said they ate for months to get the law firm off the ground.
Like
So you don't like Jazz because, or you're not fucking with Jazz because he can't take her to Paris, but even though those were your humble beginnings. Just saying. Trying to control Vivian. He's trying to control everything, and then he gets mad when the whole thing with Carlton, even though they made up for it at the end of the episode.
Ugh.
But the whole thing with Carlton, he was like, Carlton, I gave you everything, and you still fucked it up. How do you do drugs? And he was just like, Dad, you don't think I'm strong? Because I'm tired of apologizing for giving y'all a great life with these billions of dollars.
Okay, girl.
So Phil ultimately, and then even at the end of the show when he took the text from Erica and he was just like, "No, I can't do it." He was like, "Well, I better do it because I got to play her game to be able to do what I want."
He did that shit because he want to fuck. That's what that was. No, I'm not putting that on no playing no game. Fuck, man, whatever.
That's what he told. So you don't believe what he said to
No, nigga,
Jeffrey?
no. Jeffrey looking at him sideways. Jeffrey know this nigga lying.
Jeffrey's
just like Vivian knew Carlton was lying in that damn car.
He said, any woman that desires you like that, bro, cannot be good. Cannot be good. She's like, you just got to play your game. So at the end of the day, Phil was the bad guy the whole time. Because he's giving these people money. I'm giving you things. The money is what's important around here.
Yep. Fuck him. He's a coon. So
wow. How do you feel about Phil and him being the villain of this season? Plot twist.
Not a plot twist. He was the villain when the season opened. You beefing with a 16-year-old child that's under your care? Girl, grow the fuck up. So my issue with Phil is that he is a fucking liar. And you're hiding behind having money. And I peeped this with him in the way he handled Jeffrey last season. But you're handling your family. You're not being a part of the family. You're handling your family. So when it came to Vivian, I felt her. Like, even before she opened her mouth, when I watched that scene and he was like, maybe it's time for you to fall back or whatever, I was like, nigga, what the fuck? Because she had a bad day? Mm-hmm. What are you talking about? And she said it best. Like, I'm always telling you to fight your battles, and then you're telling me not like to give up. And it pissed me off because you know that Art has been hurt. That was a whole fucking hotel bathroom bedroom argument that y'all got into. Well, discussion for like half of a fucking episode. And you mean to tell me you forgot about all that? It went in one ear and out the other. You truly don't appreciate this woman. If I know that your passion is art, if your passion is rapping and you a SoundCloud rapper, and I'm saying that not because I think they're less legitimate, but just because of the stereotype around that, and I'm with you, I need to support you. I can point out things that may be wrong or whatever, but if this is your passion, do the shit. Do the shit. And then also when it's your passion and it's working for you, she just happens to have an office inter-role office issue. Her issue is not the role itself, it is the logistics, it's the office politics. It's not even the role. So it's like, sir, she's the only adult on this show that works. You don't do anything. You ran a failed campaign and you do not work at a law office. So like, let's pump the brakes on that, young lady. So I was pissed off because I'm like, bro, this is your wife. Like, even if, and I don't even think he was really coming from a malicious place with that request. The way they played it, it did to me feel like he was being genuine, but being genuine does not negate the effects of what you're doing. Um, and I was like, bro, you you got to read the room, like. And he strikes me, and maybe this is intentional, as someone who wants to just fix everything and just have shit be done, as opposed to allowing shit to happen and allowing and being there as a support system. He's like, well, let's just fix this and let it be that. And she told him, like, yeah, you open a new office and all this other shit. Wouldn't it be great if I just had nothing but time? And even that, I was kind of questioning Vivian, but I was like, no, you're right, because not I don't even think that the character was doing it intentionally, and so that's why I give him just a little bit of grace with that specific issue, because I think it is easy sometimes to, with all great intention, still offend someone and still maybe subconsciously be doing something that you don't realize. So I'm not even, he's still a shitty person, but I'm not as mad at him for that as the rest of this shit. Their conversation with Hillary, where I was like, Vivian, you started that, but I'm not siding with Phil, but like, Vivian, you kind of came in hot with some personal issues. But when they were going back and forth, when Hillary decided if she wanted to go to Paris with LaMarcus the very next day or not, which I was like, LaMarcus, you're a professional athlete. You knew you wanted to go to Paris. Like, maybe that's just out of my tax bracket, and you could just be like, tomorrow. But would you not have known about this a couple days ago?
After the night they had last night.
Hey.
Why not? You made me crepes. We were speaking French to each other.
Ooh, AP French. Shut up, dummies. Both of y'all. Don't nobody care. That dead language. Shit. Well, it's not dead, but still, I was mad. So
it's about a little sour.
No. I don't want to talk about LaMarcus after this because it's not all bad. I promise you, it's not. So Phil also opens this new office and blindsides Erica, which I'm not. That's shitty. But I'm like, maybe this is like legal drama shit. But what pissed me off about that?
Before you go any further, how does this deal work now? Then
that's exactly where I'm going. That's exactly where I'm going. And also,
like, wait, huh? He can start his own firm under this.
Why
deal?
not straight at the this? None of this, and this is why I say this is not done well. Because I should be able to watch a show about somebody who collects Barbies, somebody who's a beekeeper, and somebody who scales mountains and gets chewed bubblegum. And I don't know about none of that shit. But you should be able to craft this show in a way that I have a better understanding. I don't know what the fuck is happening here. I'm so confused. And I was with Erica. Like, I'm gonna root for her regardless. I don't care how evil she is.
But it doesn't matter because they still went back and did it, and it was like, well, the firm says it's okay.
That pissed me off, and I'm gonna tell you why. When he said, "Make the firm understand you have less than 5% minority," whatever. Were we watching the same show when he had that meeting with the United Colors of Benetton, and there were like all these fucking POC people and all these? This is what I'm saying. Like, what do you mean? How are you pulling the race card? How are you pulling that here when you sat in front of the Illuminati, which had one member from every ethnicity in the world? Every racial group was represented. What are you talking about? You tell them that 5%. Girl, so you failed the law office you put together with your brothers of Morehouse.
No, he didn't fail them because he got them the account back that they needed.
I'm not done. You failed them.
I think the buyout.
No,
I don't really even understand how the buyout worked.
No.
I guess
like
they
I said,
didn't have
you
to get
failed
bought
them.
out.
You failed them until James put his foot up your ass. He's a shitty person. When James got in that ass, then you decided to be, oh, let me get upset about a mortgage and a tuition. Girl, fuck you. The fact that you got so much money that you can just open up another law office really is pissing me off because you could have bought Zenith. You have money, Bruce Wayne. So you do all this shit. You talk about minorities. Girl, what? What are you talking about? What is the point? Like, why is he bouncing from office to office? Because, again, I'm thinking in my head, we get season 3. Maybe he'll be in the office more. We'll have to staff new people. Why not just keep the same people from the old firm? what is the point of you connecting with Erica? It's like the writers was like, let's make this a plot point, but let's just give him his own office.
Well, he
He's
said it
not
himself. He
passionate
was
enough.
like, it's about time. He said that James is going to run the legacy firm. Apparently, that's the legacy firm. But he's like, it's time for me to do my own thing. This is mine. Everything is going to be mine. Me and you, Jeffrey, we're business partners now, and we're going to do it that way. So I guess it's just...
Jeffrey's not a lawyer.
Wait, hold on. Yeah, I'm confused.
Because what are y'all doing? That's what I'm saying. He is not passionate enough about law for me. In this show, you have not, like, the way that they had Hillary spouting off Wikipedia facts about Muslims at that dinner is how they should, like, why is he not, okay, this may be tired, it may be an old trope or whatever, but he's not even like spending time with Ashley, seeing her activism and like get into law. Like, baby girl, let me teach you about this. This what I did back in the day. Like, there's nothing in his character outside of the scenes where he's physically in a law space that makes me think this man gives a fuck about law. You just an Instagram baddie walking around cheating on your wife.
You just say Instagram.
What are we doing?
Like, cheated, yeah.
Intention is 9/10 of the law, or whatever they be saying. I just don't. He's not a good person. He is manipulative and he's controlling and he does what the fuck he wants. I don't think this was intentional with the show, but the way they have written him, you failed those people who you were counting on for votes in season 1. You have not revisited your fraternity, but to be excited that LaMarcus is back home. You have not been back to that church. You have not. You were not with your legacy firm. You were finna screw them over until James called you out. You did not immediately tell your wife when Erica was pushing up on you. I don't think that he needs to hold his wife's hand, but when you have instances like this, and this was the very reason that she had um, issue with you entertaining the idea, you are not being honest with your wife. Why are you not being honest with her? Oh, I could take care of Erica. Like you took care of her when y'all were in high school, in college for 2 years. What do you mean I can take care of Erica?
Game. I gotta play her game.
Because you're a grown ass man who is a billionaire. But you and a such an accomplished lawyer that everybody is vying for your attention based off of your face alone. He says, I'm the face of this firm. Well, girl, where? You being the face of that firm didn't get you them votes, you failure. So what are we doing? So the shit with Erica, I'm not even mad at her because you've established that she's just trying to sleep with him anyway. So whatever, I come to expect it. I'm still a fan. I love me some Erica. But like, you're not being honest with your wife and you think that's okay? So if she was to not be honest about plot twist, she been with Reed all season, we just ain't see him, it was off camera, then what? Because you definitely wanted to fight this nigga in your house. What's good for the goose need to be good for the gander, motherfucker. Let's not switch the rules up. His handling of, or lack of handling of Ashley has really pissed me off because, again, this is a character that is barely there. And when she's there, she's in service to another person in their storyline. And if Hillary's this daddy's girl and you love her so much that you hate her poor ass hoodlum of a boyfriend, let them tell it. Why are you not putting the same energy into Ashley? Like, I'm not even being funny. How many scenes have they been in with just them? How many scenes have they been in where they've spoken more than 4 or 5 words to one another? This is your baby girl. This is your youngest. You're failing her and everybody else. Just like y'all didn't know Carlton was on these drugs. Do you know that she's queer? Is that a thing that you know about this girl? I
don't know if either one of them know that.
I think her mom knows because remember she was into activism. She was like, "Girl, these
yeah,
causes you into." Yeah, but I feel like clearly Vivian's going to handle this much better than old hothead ball nuts head over here. So you do this shit. The conversation on the couch about Jazz really pissed me off. We don't find out how you feel about this man
To
the
the last
entire
episode.
season. No. The entire season. We have no
Yeah.
idea. You are not entertaining him. You are not in a scene with him. You are not being the questions that Hillary had for Vivian. She said, "Ask your dad." We never got that conversation, and yet, what did he say? I think I wrote it down. A man needs to step up
Yeah,
to
any man is
whatever.
willing to step up. Any man
But
should be willing to step up and give the woman that he loves like anything that she wants or the world and stuff like
now,
that.
now, while I think that is true, it is true within context. Jazz was already doing that. They were in a loving relationship where there was no drama. They were in a relationship where they were not wanting for anything. He was not asking her for money. She was not feeling like he was bringing her down. There was nothing in the text or on the screen from either season that showed that he was lacking in any regard with himself or that relationship. There's nothing. So to make these flippant comments really does not show him in a kind light, because now it seems like you're just as materialistic and just as shallow as Hillary is portrayed to be now. And it pisses me off because while I'm live tweeting, and I'm gonna jump ahead, and Jazz said, "I don't deserve a girl like you," and he had that little monologue. I nutted the fuck up, and I said, "Are we watching the same show?"
Right.
And some girl, I don't know who this girl is, she retweeted my tweet and she said, yeah, aren't we watching the same show?" And I said, I don't know if people have these critical thinking skills. And y'all call me out if you think I'm wrong. But if when I met you, I liked you, I showed interest, you showed it back. Um, I supported you through everything that we did together. I listened to your problems and the issues you were dealing with your job. I even broke into your job and stole back some of your
The
supplies with
sign.
you.
That I haven't seen the sign since.
I we've been together. We've been having the sex. We've been having a good time. I lent you my car. I've supported you since day one. I'm not saying you never did anything for me, because she definitely got him on social media and a larger kind of reach. I asked you about social media. For me, I don't give a fuck about that shit, but that's important to y'all in this show. Why am I not featured? Why we can't be together? Whatever you say out of your mouth, because I want. There's the allure of being single. So for followers, whatever. And then the one time that I do something not in line with our relationship, which is he ignored her for that. I'm gonna even say it was 2 days. I ain't gonna say it was just one. I'm gonna say it was 2 days. I don't think so. I'm gonna say it was 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
We ultimately get back together. This is the show's fault here. You didn't have a conversation about that. That's weird. But that aside, we get back together, we have dinner, and then you pretty much embarrass me. Now, I will say they did have an argument. It was on both of
Mm.
them. But
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I have money, and you are from this privileged background where money is no object. And though you may be coming from a good place, you are.
You were completely killing the Hillary and Jazz segment of our show, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Like you
Okay.
are literally getting deep in the weeds, and we ain't even finished with the Phil side of things. I'm just
My
giving you a
bad.
heads up. Like you
No,
are
let me stop.
deep in the weeds right now, and I'm
I'll
like,
pick this up. I'll pick this
all
up.
of this is
All
yeah.
right,
Like you gonna have to
run it
edit that,
back.
and put that in the in the Hillary
So Phil,
in
I
the
hate
Hillary
him. No.
Jazz stuff because you real deep in the weeds.
Okay. Okay. I was passionate. So
I know,
I'll
but
let
like
you
like
start that
we
off.
ain't gonna have
So
nothing to talk
Phil.
about when we get to Hillary, and we
Okay,
ain't
let's get
finished
back to Phil.
with Phil yet.
So Phil is a bitch. And so not only do you not tell your wife about Erica, but you keep entertaining her. Yeah, you gotta be professional. Yeah, girl, sure. You know what you're doing. If you really gave a damn about your marriage and about this little professional union, you would have made this shit be clear. You have a relationship with her. You've had one years ago. Let's not act like you don't. You just met this lady. The thing with Carlton, the way in which he handled Carlton really set me off. And I said, I'm not a parent, so perhaps the parents can give me a little bit more insight, because I am not, I want to be clear, I'm not even saying Carlton did not need to get his ass handed to him. But in this very moment, this ain't you stole the car and did a joyride and ran over the neighbor's mailbox. This is you're on a fucking substance as a child that can really fuck you up in addition to your already existing medications. Phil's reaction really was fucking shitty. This man is just the fact that he had to admit it for you to know about it. You need to be yelling at yourself. What are we doing? And the way he went at Carlton, I know they did the whole wrap up where we hug at the end.
They both shedded a tear, and I thought that. I got to be honest, man.
Go ahead.
Just knowing from having a lot of drug stuff happen in my family, yeah, like certain fathers are just like, yo, man, you got everything I didn't have, and you still on fucking drugs. Certain dads don't realize at that moment that their kid doesn't need to be. What Vivian was doing, she was just like, we got to figure this out. And he was just like, no, fuck that. He was just like, this nigga's on drugs, and I done did everything for him. And I've witnessed something like that happen before. And it's just sometimes it's just the initial reaction of, like, you on cocaine? Like, what the hell? You know what I'm saying? So I get where he was coming from. He went in hard on Carlton, but we needed that scene so Carlton can actually give a little bit more exposition to his parents. Hey, Dad, I know you wish I was stronger. I know you wish I went to this drug because you don't believe in me. You think I'm weak. You wish you had a different type of son. You've put everything into Will this season
and last season. Don't play.
Yeah, and I get it, and I understand why I understand why the scene went the way it went. And then they had to make up for it. For him and Vivian had to have the conversation too of, it feels like we failed. And then him going in to embrace his son, and they both, shed a tear. I get it. I get why they went that route. And I was the same way when I first seen it. And then on the second viewing, I was just like, you know what? I get it.
Well, that makes one of us.
But yeah, he went in. He went hard on Carlton. I'm not gonna hold you, but I get it.
Fuck him. How do you say because he's too weak to not do what everybody else does at Bel-Air? Bro, this nigga has been the strongest the whole series. Having to deal with the emotional weight of you fuck ups. That's what I'm saying. Like, odd as it is, and this may be controversial, but Connor was the best thing for Carlton in the sense that he didn't have a support system. The drugs are bad. We know that. I'm not denying that. But Connor was his support system this season, and that's a problem. Will failed him. Lisa failed him. I'm gonna say Hillary so much because him and her didn't do a lot last season either. But parents failed him. He had
a spiral. He spiraled. Really
yeah, bad. And I get it makes for good TV, and I get what the show that we receive. But if we're going to get and understand that this is for TV and this is the show they gave us, we can also critique the way that some of this shit was handled, no matter how real it is. And I just think, for a motherfucker who swears up and down he's God's gift to this family simply because of money, you fucked up. It's you. You fucked up. And you keep doing shit for you. You keep doing shit that is best for you. And I'm like, you hollering and screaming at him. Like, what was supposed to happen? Like, what was Carlton supposed to be like, you know what? I'm not an addict anymore. Thank you, Dad. Like, what did you expect to happen? Again, this ain't you stole a car or you brought a girl in the house. This ain't no like shit that is harmful but money can fix. This is your mental health, your body, your physical health. You are an addict and you will be an addict for the rest of your life. You'll just be in recovery for your life. No, that's what addicts are. Addicts.
No, I know that. I know that.
Oh, okay. I thought you was like.
I'm like.
I thought you was disagreeing.
You just kind of went. You went heavy for a second. You went real heavy for a second. It's like, yeah, you right.
But yeah,
I was like, fuck.
But that's the truth of it. And what pissed me off is, and this is Phil, but it's more or less like this type of dad character that exists in all media. But it's like you can't keep yelling about all the shit that you've given to these people when this is the only life they've ever known. Yeah, you was Yamacraw in the mud back in North Carolina, sure, but that's not his life. So you dealing with possible gang violence or rural life or being a poor black person, that is not his life. So your trials and tribulations of not getting into a fight, maybe graduating high school, getting good grades, finding scholarships for college, that's not his life. So he's going to have vastly different trials. Hell, even Hillary, even fucking Ashley, her in the Miss Hughes shit, that could happen anywhere. But think of that happening in a more poor neighborhood or for someone who didn't grow up with money, that
Mm.
in addition to whatever other societal shits impact you. It's like you can't keep yelling at how you grew up from nothing. That's not his life. Y'all are two totally different people. And this, I did not care for that reconciliation scene. And I don't know if it's because they've soured Phil for me for pretty much the entire season.
I needed to see that. I'm sorry. I had to see that to just everything with Carlton this season. God, man. But we had to see that, and I needed to see that to just say, hey, we going through it. And for him to hug him like that and to embrace him and then to have a tear shed a tear, yeah, no, we needed that. I fuck with it. I fuck with it heavy. We needed that. I know you probably look at it a lot differently, because
but
we
I
do
agree.
see Phil as the villain, but I needed that, man. That whole Carlton storyline, which we'll get to, it choked me up, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to Carlton. Shout out to Ollie. I mean,
Ollie,
as the
yeah,
actor.
Ollie Charlton,
God,
you
man.
killed it, bro. He carried this. Ollie carried this season. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. He carried this season. This is the Carlton season. Shout out to you, Ollie. You killed that. Well, everybody, y'all did good, but Ollie, he carried this season. Yes, sir. So all in all, Phil is a shitty person. We end his storyline with him texting Erica like, "Yeah, I'm a free for lunch or dinner or whatever.
I'm free for you, sweet mama.
I'm free to roll
Kiss you
around
in the
naked."
mouth.
I just
Okay, a little nitpick here. She did
go
not
ahead.
kiss that man that long for that much lipstick to come off his mouth. Okay,
Oh yeah, that was like
can we?
they said put lipstick on his lips, like
Right.
as if he's going out for the club. 'Cause-
I was like, she did not kiss him that long and that hard.
and also another nitpick. And I'm not a beauty content creator, but like I've seen countless lipsticks that women have like put on and then like put water on their face, and they've had to like to show how long lasting it is. Like I feel like those lipsticks are common enough that, and maybe I'm wrong, you
She
beauty
got
gurus,
money.
that
She got
right
plenty of
there.
money, so we know what kind of lipstick she getting.
Hey, that high
But it
end. I don't
ain't
even
it
know
ain't
what's high.
that.
It
Oh
ain't that
man.
Rite Aid lipstick. I'll tell you that.
This
So
is look. Here's my thing. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest
what?
with you right now. He gonna get that.
Oh yeah,
He gonna hit
absolutely.
that next season. He gonna hit. I don't care what nobody
This
say.
summer.
Yeah, for the
He
summer
own that
season.
this summer. He own it.
He gonna get in that office and they gonna get high and dry. They gonna get wet and warm. And he
Mm-hmm.
gonna hit that thing.
And Vivian gonna show up. They gonna fuck a couple times first, and then Vivian gonna show
Nah,
up, and then
it ain't gonna be a couple times. The date that they decide to do it, that's when she gonna pop up and be like, Philip, Philip Banks. She gonna be like Philip
mm-mm.
Banks. She can call him by his name, Philip Banks.
Philip Leroy Banks III. How dare
Yamacraw.
you? Right? Yeah.
Can I say this too? Let me throw this out
Say
here
it.
also.
Say it.
I don't really like. I think we're at a point in, and you can disagree with me if you feel like I'm wrong in saying this. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like in storytelling, especially in TV today, I feel like we're a little bit past a woman throwing themselves at somebody. Or am I wrong in thinking
No,
that?
I don't think you're wrong. I think depending on the context, like I feel like with soap operas, go balls to the wall, be crazy and dramatic. Something like this, I think it fits, but you could have got the same result some other way. Like I,
Because
my
she throwing
fear.
us, Erica's just like,
Oh
come
yeah,
get this.
yes, every scene. My only concern now is that her sole purpose of existing is to tempt him.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I think I have an issue. Because it would be one thing if we reconnected the other way, where it was her and Vivian reconnecting, hashing out their shit in the past, and
Mm-hmm.
then developing a friendship, and then maybe even have the affair, or whatever. But do it in a way where she has more to give. It's just more about her than simply remember me from college.
Mm-hmm.
Let's fuck. Like, yeah, cause. But no, I
And
agree.
then that line where he was like, "You've always wanted me, huh, Eric? You finally got me." And she was just like, "Oh, yeah."
Boo, tomato, 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 loser, tomato. Fuck that nigga. Erica, go after Jeffrey. Go after that old man who Will was playing basketball with. Anybody but this Yakima nigga. Ugh, weird ass motherfucker. I don't know. He's just a terrible
Philip
person.
being the villain.
Whatever. Fuck him. He been a
Hey,
villain
that
since
was a
that
pretty good
yeah.
move, Bel-Air. I'm not gonna front. That was pretty good. I mean, I think a lot of people won't look at it that way, but I wrote in my notes. I was like, Phil is the villain.
Yeah, he is. He is. He is the anti-hero. He's the villain. He's all that shit. Um. Yeah. So fuck him. I don't care what the hell he going through. He he need to get out of here. Um. Well, I guess we can wait for Carlton's. Okay. Yeah. So you got some more to say about
Carlton should be. We
evil?
should talk Carlton's stuff last. I
Okay.
think I'll
Okay.
probably get choked up, but
Okay. That's fair.
let's go ahead and hit the.
You take it away.
I like your pantsuit.
Oh,
I like your pen. You
your
want to hang?
rainbow
Yes.
pen. No. Your rainbow pen.
Oh, your rainbow. I like your rainbow pen. You want to hang it? Yes.
Yes, me too. Hi, fellow gay. Oh, hello. You're gay too? Yes. Let's now connect. Wonder Gay powers activate. Form of a pantsuit. Form of a rainbow pen. I have. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'll let you go.
I just wanted to see. This is what I'm gonna say. I think this was so forced and so stupid, and y'all ain't gave this girl nothing all season, but a pantsuit defines how
A
queer she
lesbian.
is.
Mm-hmm. You hear that, lesbians? You put on that pantsuit and everybody knows.
And it's just like, well, my rainbow pen says I'm queer too. It's like, well, she ain't really been doing nothing all season. And then it just I like how they just throw it in there. It's just like we just gonna throw this in here. Here you go. Here. Check the box off. We got it.
Bruh.
Representation, check. And it had to be out of everything, it had to be a pantsuit. That's what sold it. It was like, oh, she got a pantsuit on. You know what that means.
They could have both had a rainbow pen if that's the case. Like, pantsuit?
The pantsuit is what sold it. Take it away, Rhayne.
Was you finna call me a slur, nigga? What's that pause? No. Take it away. Ratchet.
Take it away, Rhayne.
Yeah, all right.
She ain't did nothing all season. All season. Ashley showed up, started the protest, and was like, I can't protest with y'all. Sorry, y'all. And then she showed up again, and she was like, hey, don't you like jazz? Well, then talk to him. Then she went back to us. Then she showed up again, and she was like, hey, you're the best Big Brothers. I love both of you guys. I love you, Will. I love you, Carlton. You guys inspire me to do better with my life, even though I'm not really doing nothing.
When?
Oh, and then she showed up and she was like, you know, our teacher, my teacher gives me stuff to read outside homework. She got fired.
You missing family reunion. She showed up to help Uncle Joe.
Well, then she did have a lot of stuff to do this season. What am I talking about?
No. You're not wrong. She had a lot of shit to do for other people. Nothing about this season was about her.
Well, this was.
Okay.
So, I like your rainbow pen. Yes. She said
yes, I am a lesbian. Let's be lesbians together. So
she said,
I'm not a lesbian.
So fast. That girl couldn't even finish her sentence. She was, yeah.
She said, you want to get, oh, dig up dead bodies? Yes, sure. That
With
too.
you and your rainbow pen? Sure.
Mm-hmm. Bring that pen and you bring that pantsuit, honey. So, okay,
Now we
I'm
got to
not a
see Ashley in a
lesbian.
pantsuit every season.
So I would like for any lesbian identifying women, any queer women, you please correct me if anything I say is wrong. In regards to like the lesbian shit, not like my opinions. Like, girl, whatever. So Ashley, it's like they don't know what to do with her. We've established that from season one. But season
Mm-hmm.
one, it feels like she had more going on because she at least had her own friends. She had her own storyline. She was figuring stuff out. And it seems like now she identifies as a queer woman, which is fine. And I'm not even saying her storylines have to be around her sexuality or her romantic interest. That's fine. I do think it's important to make it no, excuse me, make it known what it is so that that representation can be there. But you can be a lesbian and just like have friends and go roller
Mm-hmm.
skating and fight the power, for Miss Hughes. To do this okey doke of like last minute, let's make her and Olivia love it. Well, not even love interest, just two queer kids feels like a slap in the face because all of the shit she's done this season has been for other people. Nothing has been for her. Like she couldn't even fight on the front lines for Miss Hughes, and she like that was her thing.
That was her
And
thing.
so every time she popped up, it was to be an extra in a scene, to say a few quippy lines,
And
and
take
to
care of Uncle
service
Willis.
another character. Right. So where we could have one cut out this Founders Award shit and gave some of that storyline to Ashley so that she and Olivia could have a enemies to friends to oh hey we're both queer. That would have made more sense. Like why are we
They did
not
a whole
why did
project together.
that happened in the span of one scene.
They made a robot.
And then even her and Miss
And they
Hughes.
didn't even talk about none of that when they made a. Y'all built a robot, my nigga. Y'all built Megan.
And here we go. You got that big ass cheerleading bow, and I got this fucking pantsuit, and now we're best of gal pals. I was like, bro, this is weird. Like most queer kids. I can't speak to today's generation, but my God, if I saw a gay nigga when I was in middle school,
Come on, Holiday.
we could speak back in my day. But I'm just like, this shit is okay.
Come
What
on
I'm
through,
saying
Holiday.
is,
Back in
this
my
makes
time.
you are a terrible person. This shit makes no sense. There was so much space to have these girls interact. To be quite honest, we didn't need Tatiana in this show. That storyline could
I
have
said
been.
the same thing.
No, you've been saying that since before the show started. I don't want any legacy kids. But what I'm saying is we didn't need her at all. Like if that was the storyline, we didn't need that storyline either. Like that storyline, if it had to happen, could have been a high school teacher. And like get that shit away from Ashley. Don't affiliate that with her because you're not doing anything with her. So her and Olivia should have spent more time together. Give me actual and really I would have liked that because she had a crush on that girl last season who wasn't queer or didn't
That
reciprocate.
girl ain't
And I
nowhere to be
thought
found.
that was so dope because though it to me it wasn't a I'm gay, I don't have anybody to be gay with. It was more or less like a child's first heartbreak. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't a gay kids have it worse type situation. So this season she could have actually either romantically like she started in season 1 or just platonically found a like-minded person. Cuz what do we know about Ashley? Like quickly, outside of her being a queer woman of color, cuz
She's
she
about the
said that.
cause. She's always protesting for causes.
But when did she?
And she likes Saweetie.
Yeah. And even that,
And
like that would have been that Saweetie thing would have been so much better had that have popped up later after her and Olivia finally became friends. And like, oh, I'm having this yacht party. Like, cause at her boat party, I didn't give a fuck about none of that. Cause like who are these random extras? These aren't your friends.
Saweetie.
Like to see her and Olivia bond over like we hate each other, then it's a misunderstanding, and then we become good friends. And while building this robot, because they could have spent the whole season building a robot. While building this robot, we realized, oh hey, we're both queer. Oh nice, I like Sweetie. Maybe they both got a crush on Sweetie. I don't know. Whatever. I don't know. But some kind of way, I should be more invested in Olivia. I should be like, oh, look at them two little queer kids. But it was like, here's a drive-by homosexual wing. Rainbow bell pantsuit. Bro, what the fuck? Oh, you have a rainbow jock strap? Oh yeah, look at you with your gay pride shirt. Fucking silly shit. I'm just like, that's essentially what it is. Did I see you at Pride? Oh, honey, I don't go to Pride. No, I'm just. You don't give this girl nothing to do, and then when you do something that actually affect, like, okay, this is just me rewriting shit as a nerd. But if you had have built up their friendship, I think it would have been fun. Well, maybe not. But to see her and Olivia at that event for Hillary and not dressed up in them damn weird ass outfits, but see them outside of school hanging out and like this is my big sister, and like I just feel like it just would have fleshed it out a little bit more. But what do I know?
I just like your pantsuit.
And I just like your rainbow pen. You want to hang out this summer? Yes, of course. I thought you'd never ask, motherfucker. We're gonna hang out so hard. And also, like, whatever. I don't know.
Hard. Hold on. Wait a minute. Now, calm down. They're just children.
Okay, now you took it there. I'm talking about hanging out with the Max. This shit is stupid. I don't know, but whatever.
I was super excited to hear what your opinion was going to be about how they forced that on that show, and was just like, yeah. By the way,
remember she's queer. If she says it
right,
once
exactly. You remember that? Remember that part?
And then, like, this should have happened earlier. Them recognizing that, so that when you do both end up at this event together, you can say, "Mom, can I go sit with my friend?" Like that would have. But whatever. The points are made up, and the shit don't matter. So, gay rights. So what's next? Hell no, we won't go.
Oh yeah, and also Ashley seeing Carlton. We'll get to that when we talk to Carlton. Yeah, okay. I'm sorry, I'm jumping the boat.
No, you're good. You think you mean?
I know.
Tell the storylines early.
I'm trying to think. What else?
Hillary's the only.
We have Hillary stuff. We have Carlton stuff. I'm trying to think if I need to throw in. We've talked about Lisa.
Huh.
What's in my notes? I'm trying to see what in my notes.
Lisa. Jackie was. I guess
we can get to Jazz and Hillary and how they completely dropped
all the ball. All of them. Yep, go ahead. I did go a little deep, so you take it away, sir.
Weeds. I was like,
hey, bro, I was feeling it.
So I agree with you on a lot of that stuff too. I'm like, were we watching the same thing? I seen him do everything he was supposed to do, but that one situation at the restaurant just made him insecure. And I'm like, but wait, you know what I'm saying? Like, none of that made sense to me. Also, God, this makes Hillary look bad.
Come on.
To me, when she came and she was just like, first of all, let me just say, shout out to Jazz, the actor who plays Jazz. What is his name? I'm sorry. Rhayne will look it up. When he came to Hillary and told her how he felt, and he ended it by saying, I haven't told any woman this I've never told a woman that I love them other than my mother. Come on, bro. And she's still sitting here like, but at my heart, and I couldn't answer the phone. I was in the bed for 5 days straight.
Okay, sis.
Did you not hear what am I the only person who heard? There's not a lot of men who can say that. It's not all of me who could be like, I ain't never told this to
LaMarcus
nobody
could.
but my mama.
LaMarcus could.
Huh?
I said LaMarcus could. Jordan Jones. Jordan L.
Yeah.
Jones is his name.
Jordan Jones, you did fantastic. You did fantastic this season as Jazz. They should give you a raise.
And more scenes.
Loved it. When he came in there, he told him how he felt. She was like, I don't want to feel that pain again. He was like, love hurts.
Mm-hmm.
Love hurts, baby. Mm-hmm. She was just like, well, am I going to give her promise me that if love hurts? And if you want to come down this way again, I'm here.
And don't gloss over that when she said something. Can you assure me you didn't? Now listen to what I'm saying. Can you assure me you won't hurt me again? And he said no.
No.
Now let me take you back, listeners. Y'all, this ain't for y'all, or maybe it is. Remember Anissa having the same conversation when all she had to do was say what Jazz said. No, I can't promise you I won't hurt you. Fucking love hurts, but we gonna get through it. So go ahead.
I feel like they completely fumbled the ball with Hillary and Jazz's storyline. And they flipped the switch on us too, because I don't care what a lot of people, how they see it. Hillary was wrong in a lot of that situation in their relationship. I don't know how we got switched around. Maybe I'm looking at it from a man's point of view, and maybe I'm mansplaining everything. But
I ain't mansplaining if that's your opinion of the.
But people was like, you don't support. I'm like, yes, I do.
No.
That man was doing everything I feel like Jazz was doing what he was supposed to do. The insecurity never came in until that one incident at the restaurant. Jazz literally was coerced into doing a lot of stuff that he doesn't normally do. But he got out of his comfort zone, and he did it for her because how he felt about her. And she kept on messing up with everything that he was like, man, come on now. All of that stuff. And then it just, for her to show up, and I seen a couple people on Twitter that was just like, well, she just like me because I would have went to Paris too. I'm like, wow, that's, and then for Hillary to not really see that she kind of is a little superficial when it comes to what everything that's going on. LaMarcus just came out of nowhere, and he's got plenty of money, and he's doing all this stuff. And she was like, "Let's go to Paris." And then I don't know, man. They fumbled it, and maybe I'm being biased because I wanted to see Hillary and Jazz in this show actually work. And again, you got pretty much. You have a storyline within itself by them coming from two different worlds and them trying to make the relationship work by being from two different worlds and how things work. Jazz is in the hood with your cousin Will, keeping him from getting his ass whooped because he know how the streets work. They dropped the ball on it, and it doesn't make Hillary look good. I didn't like that she just showed up and was like, let's go to Paris, and it's just like,
oh, now hold up. LaMarcus did that to her. Don't you make it?
But I mean, I'm saying, like, when they opened the door and she was like,
"Oh,
ready?
that part, yeah."
I'm like,
we're gonna find out she didn't go. We're gonna find out she didn't go next season.
I don't believe that. But they completely soured me on her character because I'm just like, how do you not see Jazz is like being a good guy and doing what he's supposed to do? And then you see him dancing at a party like that.
Around
it would be
people.
Different if we seen Jazz slow dancing with some woman at that party.
Tongue in her mouth.
Perfect. Yes. He in the middle of people. This fool is in there dancing around women and just having a good time because it's his place, his party. What you thought he was supposed to be sitting in the corner being like, well, and then the thing was, and I'm like, the man who looked at the door every time somebody came through there.
No, that ain't no. I can't get on Hillary for that. He did that shit. As far as looking back,
but they never had the conversation. It was never a conversation, and that's all they really needed was a talk.
So there's two conversations that couple has missed. One about why didn't you show up that night when I said come over, which we glossed over that, and two, I saw you dancing with them. Even if that's like a weird, outlandish thing, it's still how she feels. And if she said
she's just like, I'll just go to LaMarcus's house and just get in the hot tub, whatnot.
Which Now I want to make sure we're on the same page. They alluded to them fucking, right? Because she was like, "Yeah, you do remember what I like," and I was like,
Oh yeah, she did say that.
y'all fuck, right? Like, because it's not good, and I don't care. Like, I'm not sex shaming, but I'm like, I want to make
Yeah.
sure they just did not explicitly say the words, but sitting in the hot tub is not. Oh, you like what I like? Yeah, anybody could sit in the hot tub, but like, you do remember what I like, girl. Get
Yeah.
your long-legged butt out of here, Miss Nasty. You ain't said nothing that I don't agree with. I don't think one is not mansplaining. Like if a woman explains to you something and then you're like, "Well, no, honey, this is really how it is." Then yeah,
Well,
but
I
no,
think
I
I seen a
think.
lot of opinions. I seen a lot of opinions on Twitter that was just like, "Oh yeah, girl, like, yeah, forget jazz." I'm like,
But
okay.
that's why asked that question a couple episodes ago, and I may have been extremely serious. But like, if you truly feel like Hillary should be with LaMarcus over Jazz, I would like for y'all to investigate why that is, and if it simply comes down to money, then figure out like what does that say about you. And I'm not even shaming them because if money is your thing, money is your thing. Everybody wants
Mm-hmm.
money, but my thing is the relationship she had with Jazz, there was no problems. It was a functioning relationship. It's not like she wanted for anything and then
Mm-hmm.
LaMarcus scooped in and took her. No, they were in a happy, healthy relationship and LaMarcus popped back up. And this whole focus on money, I think the show is not handling this well because she even said it, oh, just as I might be not spoiled, what did he say? Superficial or some shit. But I'm like, yes, because again, if we go back to her reasoning behind not being publicly with Jazz, I need to look available and
Mm-hmm.
attainable. But the rules change when you're with LaMarcus.
Because he helped her
Like,
get the Spike deal, I guess.
because the pictures from that, if those pictures don't come out from that thing, I'm gonna be
He
pissed
mentioned it
off.
though. Jazz said, "I seen him. I seen the pictures."
Oh, okay, okay. I didn't. Oh, I don't remember that. Whatever. This shit
Yeah,
was
he
so
said
weird.
that. He said that. He said that.
So, but that's what I'm saying. Like, we can have a conversation about insecurity and all this shit all day long, but if we're not going to be willing to talk about the whole pie and not just a slice, then we really don't need to be together. I don't doubt that you were sad and hurt and upset about him not returning your messages, but if we're going to focus on that, why are we not focusing on the fact that you never replied to him and you never went over there where you could have had this conversation? So if you were in bed for 5 days sad and then you went all this time without like talking to him, did your phone evaporate? Did it disappear? Do you not check your phone? You're a social media is your job. You don't. So like again, the show, this is an issue with the show. Y'all dropped the ball with like four different conversations that never happened. um
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Hillary is a bad person, but I feel like I'm not as upset as I was before because I think this, however poorly handled, shows that yeah, Hillary is just a real person. She's
Yeah.
just a real person who does real things, and sometimes you can't put anyone on a pedestal because now that's unfair to them and to you. And
Mm-hmm.
I do feel like you can break up with somebody for any number of reasons. You don't even need to have a reason. But in this instance, the reasoning made no sense. And for Jazz to say out his mouth, I don't deserve a girl like you. No, she doesn't deserve a partner like you.
I didn't. Yeah, man. That just what happened throughout the season and him saying that didn't just it just didn't make any sense.
It's like again they were just wrapping shit up. Cause this can't be if y'all sit. Well, again, I don't want to be whatever. You can't sit and write this season episode 1 to 9 and then be like, yeah, this is what he would say. No, and that whole you better get her before she go to pair. I'm not going. Why? Well, I can see, I can see you doing it if you like really love her and want to get her back and this and that. Like, oh, I'm done being stubborn, but like let's still address the issues that brought us here to begin with. It wasn't just him. It wasn't him at all. Like, so I don't know. If you see it a different way, that's fine. Let us know, I guess. But I doubt anyone can change my mind with this because I watch this show every episode.
Mm-hmm.
So, so I don't know. Yeah, listeners, let us know. POF Pod, how you feel? You think we're wrong? Do you agree with us? Do you feel like Hillary was a great girlfriend and we're just missing out? But Also, again, interrogate yourself and figure out why. If you think, oh, this is the other thing I want to say. I don't think LaMarcus is a bad person overall. Like, if we
I don't
had
either.
excuse that I'm going to get Hillary, I think excuse if we get rid of that because it makes no sense. If he was just an ex who came back into her life, I feel like he did all the right things, just like Jazz. You saw you wanted her back. You treated her kind, you did all this stuff, and you kept reassuring her, I'm not doing this to make you be with me. I'm doing this because I appreciate you. Like he said last night, I'm not even about to make any assumptions. What we did is what we did, but I think this trip to Paris can be a good way for us to reconnect, outside of Bel Air. So I don't even think Lamar, I don't hate on him. I don't think he's a bad person. I think he's a cool guy. I like the character. Like, he seems like a genuine good guy, but I feel like why not have this storyline season one and then have her and Jazz? Will they? Won't they? Season two? Because like, what is the point? What is the point? LaMarcus is a good person, and I don't fault him for having money. I don't think that's a bad thing, and I don't. And he doesn't. You could easily slip LaMarcus into this. I'm better than Jazz because I can buy his record store. Like, he could be this cartoony villain, and he's not.
Yeah,
He's just like,
but
I want my girl back.
I think they're gonna set it up to where, like, when we get into next season, he's gonna start acting more like Phil when they actually start back dating. He's gonna try to control a lot of things that Hillary does, because he kind of did that. Now she was like, I got all these things going on. Like, remember that scene?
Oh yeah,
he
did.
I got all this
you're
stuff
right.
And he was just like, it sounds like you just need a break. And she was just like, this stuff just got rolling. And he was just like, let's just go to. That's a lot of Uncle Phil right there.
It is, but I hope they don't continue because he's a good. I like him, and if you set me up to like him, then that's good because now I'm conflicted with Jazz or LaMarcus. Like, that's shit. You see it with everything. When Twilight came out, Team Bella or Team Edward or Team Jacob, like, it's you've primed us to want this. Don't then make him a fucking villain like Phil. Just make him a nice guy and make the choice very emotionally terrible for Hillary. Like, do that. But don't make him evil. Like,
I don't think they will, but I really feel like they're gonna figure something out that we don't know background wise about why they didn't really
why they broke
stay
up
together, and he's probably gonna be like, well, I got money, like you, and I'm telling you, what they're gonna do is he's gonna insult her career. He's like, you an influencer still, like, why would you do that? I got enough money to handle all of that. Or maybe he won't. Who knows?
I hope not. I could see it,
but they're gonna figure out a way for him to mirror Phil and Vivian's situation.
Just from that conversation.
Guarantee. Like Charles Barkley said, I watch a lot of NBA. Guarantee. Watch. It's gonna mirror some stuff, and Vivian gonna be like, girl, I told you.
Get that motherfucker out of here.
Before we go into
Carlton
stuff, can I just say this? I want to put a spotlight on Cassandra Freeman and her being Vivian, and I just want to say she has had probably my second favorite. It was Hillary and Jazz. Man, Aunt Viv, her storyline, where we got to, how we got to it, the way she handled everything this season, the way Cassandra Freeman played Vivian Banks, I just want to celebrate you and congratulate you and say you were wonderful. You are my favorite Aunt Viv out of all of them. Sorry. I just love her. I love her. I love that woman. I love her to death. I think she's everything that I want out of my Aunt Viv. She handles all of these scenes that she's been handling, and the way she's handling the kids and her life and all that stuff. It's just wonderful. I just wanted to just take a minute or two just to say, Cassandra Freeman, thank you. You are a wonderful Aunt Viv, and I'm just gonna go ahead and say she's the best. She is the best Aunt Vivian out of all of them. Simply, and I know that's saying a lot because, she's only been Aunt Viv for 2 seasons, but that woman, she's unapologetically Black. That woman is very, very talented. I love the way she plays the role. She doesn't back down. That whole thing between her and what was the OG Vivian?
Janice.
Janice. Love that, how she took care of that. She's just written very well. I can't wait to see how things are gonna go between her and Erica, because Erica is basically just the evil doppelganger of who she is. I want to see how she handles that part of it. I want to see her in her new position. I love her, and if Cassandra Freeman, if you're listening to this podcast, and if you are, thank you first of all. But I just have to give you all the props in the world, because you be killing that part as Aunt Viv. And to think that they didn't have your storyline really started around episode 4 or 5. Like, it started very late in the season. They didn't give her a lot to do. Boy, did she have an impact when it came to Carlton, how she's handling Philip. It was just all of it. I just wanted to spotlight her really quick, because I don't think this season would have been as good if she wasn't as good as she is. So I just wanted to give her a bit of a spotlight, because that woman played that role. She played that part. She is the definitive Aunt Viv to me. Sorry, y'all. I know y'all love the OG Prince, and it's been 2 seasons, and people might disagree with me, but I'm just gonna say it. That woman is amazing. She plays the hell out of that Vivian Banks role, and I'm going to lobby I want her to have more stuff to do next season. Please.
All right. Shit. Ditto.
I love
Morphin time.
I love her. I love her. She is amazing. Amazing.
She sure
amazing.
Is.
And she is as black as she want to be on here. And let me tell you how I know.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to say this, not how I know, but let me tell you what sold it for me.
What?
The dress that for the founders foundation dress, and that split. You better show them thighs. That's a black woman. Let me tell you something.
I love a black woman.
When a black woman step out,
infinity.
when a black woman step out for a good night,
hey,
she got that split to the side.
This
got that showing that leg and them black women thighs. Whoo!
What other type of women
come
thighs
through dress? Come through dress. Come through hair.
Oh,
that woman was beautiful and was the finest woman in the room. Go ahead, Cassandra Freeman.
This fucking ally over here.
I loved it. I said that is a black mama if I've ever seen one before in my life. Coming through with the elegant dress, but got that. I'm gonna have that split. I'm gonna have that split to the side.
This man and these splits. No, you're right. You're right. She killed it. She is definitely.
These white folks at Bel-Air, they ain't never seen nothing like that before.
I mean, they have.
Them white mothers wish they could never. Loved it. Loved it.
Get your.
I loved it, man. I loved it. I
can tell.
She is. The hairstyles that she had, the outfits that she wore, the way that she handled situations. She just feels like a really awesome black mom. And man, I loved. She is my favorite Aunt Viv out of all of them.
That's fair. I'm probably feel the same. I think I could say she killed that. She did. Her scenes with Carlton really got me. I don't know. I wonder how many kids she actually has, like Cassandra, or if any. But yeah, so I agree.
That the man who plays Philip, that's the only person that he has chemistry with, and I think that's because of her and how she can handle some of these scenes. He really got chemistry with a lot of people on the show. Jeffrey, yes, and Vivian, and kind of Will, and I think that's because Jabari is the star, and it just works. But I had to give her some spotlight and some shine, because she is amazing, and I loved it.
Yeah. Oh, she is an actress, writer, offensive. I just Googled her. I was trying to find out in the first The first entry was, does Cassandra Freeman have children? And I was trying to see how many kids she had. But no, I agree. I think she killed it. Shout out to you, kudos to you. And she does have great chemistry with every single even with her and Erica. The
Mm-hmm.
argument and the homegirl scene was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, they know each other. So yeah, kudos. Shout out to you, Cassandra.
Yeah.
So where we going now? Because you didn't gave
I
her
don't
her
think it.
founders award.
She earned it. The only place I think that's the only thing we have left is Carlton Banks. I don't know how you want to attack this, cause
Now, I'm gonna let you take away. You can. It's you.
um, for me,
Mm-hmm.
choked up. When we get to the Carlton is getting ready to do the Founders Day awards ceremony and still doing cocaine. Him and Will still not getting along. Him and Connor are still they're cool again. Um, the addiction is going. He getting deeper and deeper into his addiction. He seen
Mm-hmm.
the slave ghost. The slave ghost said, "Hey, Carlton, this is gonna be a big win for us," and she disappeared.
I was just gonna say that. She walked into them lockers and was gone. Oh shoot!
So
Yeah.
the slavery ghost, she showed up every now and again. It was just like, "This is a big day, Carlton." He was just
Which
like, "Yes, ma'am."
why are we okay with her? Like, why is she here? She's the villain too. God
This win's gonna be big for all of us. So, wait, what? He's on cocaine. Exactly. I done took another one down. Damn you and the Underground Railroad that you came in on. Anyway,
damn. Oh God.
um, and we just get to a point. Him and Will's like, "Hey man, I know you kicking it with Connor and all this other stuff, but I still got your back." And he's just like, "Whatever, Will." And
Yeah.
then we
Fuck
just get
you.
to that. We get to the point. Ashley catches him doing coke right before his speech. Ashley's just like, "I'm not stupid," and he's just like, "You better not tell nobody. You hear me?" It's like, damn. And she runs off to find her rainbow pen friend,
Uh,
and
so-
he gets to the point where he tells his speech, man, and he just breaks down. And when he broke down and we started crying, and he said he was a drug addict, choked me up, man. Choked me up really bad.
Mhm.
When he came home and Philip went laid into him and just did dogged him out. I felt bad for him. That scene, that scene at the end where he was just sitting there and he was just sitting there and his dad came in and embraced him.
Mhm.
Just all of it, man. It tore me up. It tore me up. That whole situation tore me up.
Yeah.
And it everything that happened throughout the season from like very beginning it came to this and just tore me up, man.
Yeah.
Tore me up. I think that was he was most definitely the um
MVP.
yeah, his storyline was just it trumped everything.
Mhm.
And the fall and everything. It just
Yeah. I agree. Um, I don't like Phil, but I do know that he looks up to his father and wants to be like him in to some extent. And so I can see how therapeutic this was, and I understand what we were presented with and how that is so great. I don't have the same feelings that you do, but I can understand and acknowledge how that makes sense. I can understand that, okay, this is the natural progression of the storylines we've had. But for how shitty of a person and how hands off of a parent you are to everyone except for Will, I just I am not ready to move past your hollering and screaming at this boy after you have pretty much treated your relationship like shit for 2 seasons. So, you know, I get it. I see where you're coming from, and I do see that that's needed. But for me personally, I have no. And my mind could change. It could change before season three. It could change during season three. It might change by the time we hit stop record. But I'm not a fan. But as it pertains to Carlton, he has been through so fucking much,
Mm-hmm.
and being able to tell your truth on your like I have to go back to Drew for a second because I don't hate Drew. I feel like Drew is in his own show. Everybody's in their
Mm-hmm.
own show, and Drew sees Carlton as the villain, which Carlton is. You ran on a campaign to include the black folks, and you left us after we got you your win. You showing up now with all these high thoughts and ideas, and you're not following through. And I'm not excusing Drew for the nasty shit he did, like releasing that video. But if we're going to give everybody some grace and then decide how we feel about them, I think Drew is right. I hated how he still egged on and piled on with Carlton, telling him like, you really believe the shit you saying? You know that you are fucked up. You a shitty
Mm-hmm.
person. And he wasn't wrong to an extent. Like Carlton did escape a lot of stuff, but his escaping wasn't him being malicious trying to get out of something. Like even him in that mental health stuff, I'm like, I, that's his real life. Like even if he
Mm-hmm.
is a shitty person, let's say he gets into fights all the time, it doesn't change that that's his real mental health. And if he is the spokesperson for it, then that is his truth. Two things can be true. Like Drew said, you keep making everybody like you, but you keep fucking up. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not as upset at Drew as I was earlier in the season. Well, not for the same things. But with that being said, I'm still so heartbroken by Carlton, not only for the storyline, but for Ollie's portrayal of Carlton. He has really knocked this season out of the park. There was no
Mm-hmm.
denying it. Season one, he did a good job. But this, with this subject matter, everything he did was so believable in his vulnerable moments of crying, of lying, of like acknowledge like being hit with shit like Lisa being with Drew and like the frustration that came over him. He killed it this season.
Yeah.
And the only thing I didn't like, and I have to kind of sit with it because I can acknowledge that what I don't like about it is that I like Carlton. So
Mm-hmm.
him in the hallway with that incident with Ashley, I remember being pissed off when I was live tweeting because I was like, why the fuck he wouldn't do that such and such? But then I'm like, he's an addict. So I can't say that he wouldn't do this just because I like this character.
Yeah.
She's threatening his false reality, and his sweet talking is not working with her like it has with other people. So him lashing out at her, though I didn't like it, and I think it should have been somebody else. To be quite honest, I do understand it. When you're an addict, you're just trying to keep the lie, and
Yeah.
if that meant threatening her, I'm happy he apologized, and I'm happy that she didn't forgive him. Cause I've been like, okay, now y'all just really going off the deep end. But
Can
if
I do something? Say something real
yeah,
quick. I didn't mean to
go
cut
ahead.
you off.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Ollie tweeted out something about. I want to read this that he tweeted out
Mm-hmm.
about episode 10 real quick, and I actually retweeted it. I quote tweeted him and said, "Hey man, like really enjoyed this season. I thought your storyline was like the best this season." He said, "We made it to the end of another season. Episode 10 was a gift, an incredible emotional challenge, but also one of my favorite episodes to film. Getting to play this version of Carlton is a once in a lifetime experience. It made me a more caring, compassionate, and understanding person. Words can't describe what it means to me. Thanks for going on the journey with our a little homie Carlton. I can't wait to piss y'all off some more next season. Uh, if you resonate with any of the struggles, I just want to take a second to let you know that your love and help is always available, just a phone call away." And he does the National Substance Abuse Hotline number.
Mm-hmm.
And for somebody to get so much hate for the way he
Ooh.
portrayed this character in the first season,
Yes.
and then to turn that around and turn it into a positive, which I do feel like the writers actually took time out to see what Twitter was saying and said, let's make this character a little bit more endearing and let's go on this ride with Carlton and then feel for Carlton at the end. Because I'm pretty sure there were more than just me and possibly you who were choked up and hurt when this whole thing when he finally like
everything
fell.
Mm-hmm.
And for them to take that, turn it around, and put it in people's faces, like, "Hey, man, this dude has an addiction problem," so on and so forth. I just have to give them credit, and I have to also give them credit for being able to take the character of Carlton and like this season really wasn't about Will. It was really more to me. Other people might not feel this way, but this was more about Carlton than anything else. His addiction problem, him trying to fit in, the weaknesses that he has with anxiety, so on and so forth. Trying to be, hey, I'm not black enough. I'm trying to be more black. All of that stuff. For them to take that and make that into something that was very relatable, that's something that I most definitely admired. Yeah, man. And shout out to Ollie, man. Ollie, man, you acted your ass off this season.
He killed that.
That man had me choked up. I was like, damn. And on top of that, said what he had to say, cried, and walked out with his head. He didn't hold his head down, or he walked out with his head up high. It is what it is. Loved it. Loved it. Loved it. I don't care what you have to say. You're probably gonna.
That's what I was going to say. That I like that he gave his speech on his terms as opposed to like all those messages about him and all that, like all them secrets, and then the video that was released. He was able to tell his story on his terms, and that I know it was embarrassing for Phil, but I the fact that I loved Carlton's storyline, they did it so well, pissed me off with Will even more. Because when Will came in his room beforehand, trying to act like shit was just okay, I was like, nigga, this ain't season 1. You can't just change your attitude and then think that Carlton's supposed to just be excited that you're here. It's like, what the fuck? And even them like hugging at the founders thing, I didn't even see that as Carlton forgiving him. I saw that as, for optics, it makes more sense for me to engage in this with you. Not even to be fake, but like, how silly would it look for you to ignore him when he's trying to talk to you in front of all these damn people? So I don't. Oh, this further prove why Will is not a good person. But Carlton, Ollie is killing it as this character. I think when all is said and done, two folks who you got are synonymous. They've now replaced their counterparts is Ollie and Cassandra. Yeah. I'm not gonna say Jazz, not because he's not good, but I think he's just bringing something else to this character, and I would like to see them get a little bit deeper in the weeds with him, and not this bullshit as I don't deserve you, girl. Yeah, you do. You deserve her.
That's
and
writing. That's not care.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Even with the writing that they have, that Cassandra and Ollie have, like their acting is like, oh, they are fucking killing. I would love to see them in something else. Yeah. Mother and son, bank robbers. Hell, they could be mermaids. I don't give a fuck. I want to see them doing something. They killed it. But yeah, all in all, I have felt for Carlton since season 1. I have been ride or die for Carlton since season 1. I've understood where he was coming from, even though we grew up in 2 different tax brackets. But I've still understood his issue, and having him pretty much break down the field the ways in which he has failed his father and understands he's failed his father, in the sense that, like, yeah, I know you wanted a different type of son. Yeah. Like, I thought that was written so well.
That back and
because
forth,
like you having that reaction, I could see so many queer niggas out there feeling the same way. And this wasn't even sexuality, so I think they wrote this so well. I mean, and I think it's pretty general to have like a parent in a child who's at odds because the child isn't living up to his expectations. Sure, but like this specific performance, I was like, bruh, I could see that. Like if I gave a damn about, oh, my dad didn't, that's not my ministry. That's not my story. But I can
Mm-hmm.
see how that is. Oh, that would just resonate. Like, bruh, yeah, I'm not the son you wanted. You got that with Will, and I'm glad he didn't bring up Will. I think that would have been
Yeah,
kind of
I
weird.
am too.
But the things he said, you can easily see applied to Will and Phil's relationship because Phil has spent more time with Will. He has actively worked with Will, with getting him into Ezekiel Academy, with trying to get him into Bel-Air, with getting him out of jail. Like, at some point, we understand you're doing the things for the betterment of family, and Will is family. But at another point, it's like, we doing the Founders Day shit. You spending all this time golfing with him and doing this, then the third, and you not pouring into me the same way. And I don't want to hear no excuse of, oh, he did this before. This is the life he lived. So fucking what? If I was a race car driver all my goddamn life, just because my cousin popped up and he's just learning how, don't mean you don't need to congratulate me. Don't mean you don't need to spend time with me. Yeah, you might spend 80% of the time with Will, but like you still need to check in with the motherfucking blood fucking creation you made. So I don't
Right.
know. I just call me biased, call me whatever, but again, Carlton, Ollie, you carried this season on your back.
Yeah,
You
he
carried it.
really did.
Cassandra was
And
behind you with her shoulder, doing helping you a little bit. I think she killed it too, but Ollie, you carried
that
this season, brother.
storyline was so good. So good.
Whoo, this shit was heavy.
And it made it worth it. Like
Mm-hmm.
I think if we got the same ending without Carlton's storyline, this season would have been shit and it would have not been
Yeah.
worth it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cuz the
I
whole
agree.
reveal of Doc being actually just a regular good guy,
Uh,
that was shitty as hell. And poorly handled.
yeah, you're not wrong. It is what it is, but I don't care about Doc after you made him a good guy. Fuck that Power Ranger storyline. I'm gonna make Rita good now. You're a Ranger, Doc. Um, yeah, it's a lot of shit
Zordon,
was dropped.
no.
I'm just excited for season 3 because I want to see who stays and who's eliminated. Do we get
Mm.
Jackie again? Do we get Doc? Do we get Lisa and her mixed family, mixed blended family and biracial family? Like, do we get um, any more in depth? Like Drew, honestly, I want Drew to stay. He ain't got to be a main character, but I want to see him again because I feel like yeah, and Connor. I like Connor. I like him and his crazy ass mama. I want to see her again.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna hold
I
you.
I honestly I would like to see them more when they go back to school.
Mhm.
Maybe Connor can stay for the summertime and be like a fool of the wheel throughout the summer.
Mhm.
But this journey that they're going on with Carlton, as far as like him doing rehab and
Mhm.
and they're doing exactly what I was like, please y'all end this on. And I've been saying it all season. He's gonna crash, and they're gonna figure
He
out how to
will.
get him into rehab. And I do want to see further story of Carlton, especially getting over his addiction and rehabbing, and him having to deal with that also, because that is
Mhm.
as much of a struggle, or just as big as a struggle as the
Admitted.
drug abuse.
Mhm.
So him getting back on his feet and then having to man, season 4 is senior year and him having to go back to school after all of the stuff that's happened
Mhm.
from junior year, and him having to readjust in school again, and
Mhm.
Philip being like, "Hey, I can't trust you, man, because you do drugs. But
No more allowance.
I've gone to rehab. I'm better now. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot that they can do with that.
I want
So I'm
Connor to
excited to see.
apologize.
Say what?
I want Connor to apologize to him. I would like to see a moment that, like with Carlton and Will, I would like to see that with him and Connor. Mainly because I like Connor and I feel like with all the fucked up shit he's done, he was the most constant in Carlton's life, and I think he should own up to some of that. Even if he's not addicted, or even if he's just a functioning addict, I think he needs to acknowledge I gave you this, and we've had
Oh,
our ups and
he
downs.
white. He
But
ain't finna, they ain't finna do that for no white boy.
oh no, no,
Sorry, white listeners, but
okay, oh shit, never
he's
mind.
part of the privilege.
Yeah, but the way they positioned him this season, it just felt like him and Carlton were getting closer. Yeah, the drugs are the glue that's holding y'all together,
Yeah,
but I don't,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. That's the glue.
I don't want to see his
Like
mama
we have
again.
to
I'm
work. We
sorry.
have to rework him and Will's relationship now.
They don't need a relationship.
No, they do. They do. They do. They do. Because we have to. We got to reestablish that. I know where you're coming from, but they have to establish now. This relationship has to be even stronger now because of him and rehab. So no, they need it. They need it. I'm with it. Because having to deal with rehab, that's gonna be a if they write it correctly, that's gonna be a hell of a story. Especially how he's gonna have. Think about it. He's a high school junior going into his senior year, and he's got to be in rehab all summer, dealing with Come on, the stories that we'll be able to tell with that, and then him having to go into his senior year. I'm with it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's go. Bel-Air. They gotta be friends.
Summers. Oh, and
Hey.
before we go any further on this podcast, because I think we're about to wrap it up, guys. We're about to
Mm-hmm.
wrap it up.
Yeah.
I can't stand you,
But
man. I do want to give some props to Desi Valentine with his song "Best of Me," which was amazing, and thank goodness that the music people there know how to pick some really great music. That music was awesome. That was an awesome way to end the episode. That song is on the album called Through the Lens. It's Desi Desi Valentine Valentine. This album, I checked out some of his album. I'm telling y'all right now, this man's good. Got some good stuff on here. Please check him out. But the name of that song was Best of Me, and it's by Desi Valentine.
shout out to Desi. Shout out to Desi. Yeah, that was some good music. That was some real good tunes, and they have killed it. With and I, say what you want, with Bel Air gonna give you some music, and they gonna and I don't that intro. And I hate to compare this to that show that should not be named, but that local rapper song and that other show is very different from the rapper in this intro. So I do appreciate that. So kudos y'all there. So yeah, all in all, pretty good. Do you have a episode that you would think is probably your favorite out of this season?
This
One
one.
that you can call your oh, okay. That's
Episode 10,
cool.
the finale. Just because it gave me the emotional stuff that I wanted from Carlton's story. It gave me
Okay.
it gave me what I had been talking about all season in the podcast. It gave me what I wanted. And
That's cool.
and I got to see Cassandra Freeman's Aunt Viv do what she needed to do too. So
That's
yeah, this
cool.
was my favorite one. If I had a second favorite one, if I had to go back and actually think about what would be my favorite one, because maybe I've just got the new car smell on me,
Yeah.
it would have to be this is gonna shock you. The family reunion episode. Bill Bellamy being Yamakra's brother.
Here we
I
go.
love that shit, bro. I loved it too because he was giving Phil all kinds of headaches, and I loved it. Anytime you get somebody in there that's dogging Phil out, perfect. And that was like my favorite thing. The family reunion episode was my favorite. Second favorite.
That's
What
cool.
about you?
Mine was the protest, and that was for Ollie's performance. I feel like he sold that anxiety, he sold that stress, and he was put in a very impossible situation. And I like it more because at the point of that episode, they had a very clear rule about the Founders Award. They wasn't changing shit. We had a very clear idea, so the stakes were higher. And I felt like, even with my critiques of that episode, Carlton physically withdrawing the way he did. I've been in that situation before, and I was like, bro, this feels too real. This is giving me PTSD watching it. So, though not for the best of reasons, that is my favorite episode, I think. And the second is him whooping on Drew's big pumpkin head ass. I don't even care. Just whooping that nigga. Beat that motherfucker on the back. But yeah, so it'd have to be the protest episode. I got what I wanted from that. I got what I needed.
Mm.
Back in the day when things were good. All right. Well, any final thoughts before we wrap up this full fun size ending?
Let me just say, I thought the season was decent. It wasn't the best. It wasn't the worst. It was very roller coaster. I had my times in the season that I really enjoyed, but that Carlton stuff sold it for me. So I'm still gonna give it I'm gonna say it was an average season.
Okay, that's fair. I would agree. Because again, with all my critiques, I am happy to exist in this world. Like I feel like they've crafted a really good and believable. There's a lot of great world building here, and it feels real and lived in. And even with the critiques, I think overall it is still a good show. And because we are guaranteed a season 3, I can relax on being as harsh on season 2. Because, like, it's not the last season. Like, we have more. So I may revisit it and be like, no, that was trash. But I think as of right now, you can be a little bit more lenient, a little bit more lax. So I had a good time. Well, let these folks know where they can find you, support you, follow you, and talk all the shit about your your commentary and
well,
your
guys,
Lisa
if you want to follow me, you can always follow me on Twitter at ColeJackson12. That's when I get my tweets off, and you can tell me what you think, even though we're not doing the show anymore until season 3. If you're listening to this, while you're listening to it, just hit me on Twitter and tell me what you think about the season and how we reviewed it. I'd really like to get some critiques on how we reviewed this show.
Absolutely.
And what we can do better for season 3, Rhayne. It's guaranteed. Season 3 is
Hey,
coming.
We gotta ramp it up.
Summer,
the freshest of the scene.
No.
Yeah, y'all. Let us know. Yeah, I would like to know too. How do you feel about this season? How do you feel about the commentary so far? If you've been here since day 1, season 1, then let us know about that in comparison. Because we may have critiques about season 2 of Bel-Air, but what are your critiques about season 2 of Prince of Fresh Pod? But you can find me on Twitter and on TikTok at CarefreeBlerd, CarefreeBlackNerd everywhere else. And, just check it out. And then if you're new here and you're just like, what the hell are these motherfuckers talking about? Stick with us. You never know. We could be your favorites. And we won't cheat on you like Phil cheating on his wife. So until next time, stay carefree, stay nerdy, stay geeky. And if you are a spy with a son in East London, just pick up the phone, y'all. Pick up the phone. All right.
Not here.
This is some people still working. Some people still working.
It's done.
All right, it's a wrap. All right, you sure you don't want to wait and watch the last scene of the day with us?
I don't. What was the last scene? I don't know.
Like you guys gonna watch? We got 2 more. What 2 more scenes? You're gonna stay and watch the 2 scenes that we're in, yeah? Because we're loving company. We watch even. Look at this guy's face. Look at. Oh, look. Wait, really, guys. What?
I gotta go that.
Wait, Adrian, they're not gonna stay and watch our scenes.
That's not teamwork.
Look, the young ones. This is what they do.
That's what the young ones
This is what they do.
They don't have respect.
They don't have respect
for their elders.
We would be here. We would
We
watch
would be right
this
there, supporting them, rooting them on. I don't get it. We gotta sit down with them youth. Them youth. Look. Them ready for bounce, ready for bounce. Quick.
Yeah, Jabari's gonna stay though, isn't it? Jabari, you're gonna stay. You're gonna stay. Yeah, some people like to watch other actors until the last day of the scene. She's like, that's good. I like that.